Realize I need a new song. I'm getting tired of this one. I gotta have to build one up. I have a bunch of synthesizers and stuff. I think I just need to do a new one. I'm ready. Alrighty, hello, howdy. Oh, did I get shiny from the last live stream? Oh, buddy. Oh. This is the after chat. This is the relaxed edition. Mainly us just hanging out. Usually my Saturday shows I try and have like a topic and stay on point as best I can. But this is the shenanigan time. Shenanigans in the sense that, we get to hear from you, you get to ask your questions, we try and answer them. That's really what we're all about. But to kick off some of the fun here, I've got this garlic coffee. Man, I don't know what to think of this. So let's give this a shot. I never know what to think when my wife goes to the Asian markets. This just smells like coffee. There's like no garlic flavor. I think it's just a health additive thing. It's probably like an obscene amount of garlic. The essence of garlic. So it's fine. It's good. I'll drink that here as we roll on. But first, let's hop on into the Discord, say hi to all of our friends. By the way, did you know about our Ham Radio Crash Course Discord? It's real easy. You take the link in the description for this video, and you join us. And then you go to hashtag live-stream is for text chatting. That's where the little stuff shows up above my head, not just on YouTube, but that's Discord too. And then also go to live-stream/afterchat, and that's a voice chat. So make sure you got a microphone and speaker set up because we're going to talk to you, and we're going to answer your ham radio questions. Do you want to ask about antennas? You didn't get your email read today? That's fine. We'll do it live. But you got to be on the Discord if you want to do an antenna discussion question. So let's hop on in.
But it's a lot more trouble.
Hey, Alec is on. How's it going, man? Thanks for being on the show earlier today.
Yeah, I put in my costs, not including mast and rotator, into the chat there.
Oh, buddy!
If you want to see the BOM of what it looks like to build my tower station.
So I'm actually gonna drag that over right now so everybody can see it. I'm gonna pull this up. It was 19,000. So that's actually within the budget of what that individual had asked. So that was the tower was 9,000. Is that 9,000 including the shipping? Was that shipping?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's freight. Yep.
Tower tilt machine. So you went with the tilt over. Is it a tilt over or is it telescopic?
It's both. It's a tilt over crank up.
Okay. 7 yards of concrete was $1,100. $400 for conduit. $900 in rentals.
I did all the work myself. So the rentals is like the trencher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So did you end up getting a gin pole and all that mess too?
Yeah, that's the raising mechanism. It is technically a gin pole that has a hand crank on it, so you can tilt the tower over and crank it back up.
Tell me about your feed lines, because you got $1,000 in feed line. What's that kind of feed line you're running?
I have 2 feed lines that are 220 feet long of Messi and Poloni airborne tin that are both in conduit.
How long?
200 feet each.
Oh, buddy. Wow. All right.
But it's not close to my house, so obviously if you have a tower closer to your house, then you don't need that much in feed lines.
Right. You also have a 160-meter loop as well.
I do. That's correct. Because I wanted all bands, right? So that's a full wave loop. It's 160 through 10. I could probably tune in 6 if I wanted to, but it's not very efficient.
Your Mosley beam is $2,000. Your cables, just miscellaneous stuff's $200. You got the entry box from KF7P. Great box. I have that. Ground rod and wire. Just under $20,000. pretty.
Now add in the cost of the land. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is there a rotator on that?
There is. That's what I said. I don't have the rotator and mast on there because I had those separately already. I had an old Yaesu 800.
Okay.
But though you can find those used all over the place. Ham IVs or any of the medium weight rotators, you can get them pretty darn cheap.
Yeah. So that's probably going to add you another
comment if I can.
$400.
Yeah, say $1,000 max if you want the rotator and the mast. If you get a chromoly mast.
Sure. Okay. How long is the mast? Is it just 10 feet?
Mine is 10 feet. Yep.
Okay. All right.
So it goes 2 feet into the tower. So I sit about 8 feet above the 55-foot tower. So it's somewhere around 60 feet.
How did you raise the antenna? Just crank it down and bolt it and then crank it back up?
I built it on the tower. So I basically built the boom and then built the elements separately and then put it all together with the tower tilted over.
All right. Well, that was a fantastic way to kick off the show. Thanks for catching us up on that.
Sure.
So the after chat, we like to answer newcomers' ham radio questions first and people who are starting out in ham radio first. That is our goal. That is our focus. So I already got some questions over on both the Discord and the YouTube side. Hang on to those. Hang on. Because we like to start with all of our folks that are in the voice chat. So they're first. So with that said, if you are new to the Ham Radio Crash Course Discord, and you're on the voice chat and you'd like to say hi or ask a question, go ahead and just state your name or state your call sign or state your chat name. We just need that one person to break the ice. That's all it takes.
Hey, Josh, it's Colt. I was on the after chat last Saturday, I believe, and I just wanted to say hello and give everybody an update on. I'll be taking my tech test Monday. So give me all your positive thoughts and and prayers and everything. So yeah, wish me luck.
All right. Well, good luck to you. With all that said about the garlic, I'm now tasting garlic in the after chat of that coffee, so that's a little weird. Pretty not bad though. Garlic coffee. All right, who's next? Who'd like to say first timers? For people who haven't been here before, first time like to say hi and/or ask a question. Come now. Nobody new? That looks like a lot of people in here that are new. All right, well maybe they're just coming up to. I started this live stream a little fast after I ended the last one, so.
Oh, and you know what you did today, right?
What's that? Oh, I skipped patrons?
Yes.
I did. Sorry, I'm sorry about that, guys. I just got off of having a cold, so I apologize deeply.
Yeah, that's what Frank told us. So.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not in the perfect mindset right now, but we're getting through it. Still got through the antenna video. I didn't even expect to do that very well, but we made it. So, all right, I'll take one more shot at any new timers, people who are here for the first time that like to say hi or ask a question. Then we're just gonna go open questions.
Not the first time calling in, but newly licensed now. So.
Oh, congratulations! Congratulations. Okay, Vaco Vampire. You got to set the PTT button in settings to like control or something like that, and have your have your mic and speaker selected appropriately. Very good. Okay, let's just open it up. All questions, comments, questions, or let's talk antenna some more. What do you guys want to hit?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Comment?
I'll go question first, then comment.
Thanks, Josh. You don't seem as hot on hex beams as you once were.
Check.
Why is that?
What do you mean? I mentioned hex beams twice on the video.
No, you did. I thought I heard you say, well, I don't really recommend that. I know that you had one for a long time, and I think you've taken it down
You might be misunderstanding when I said I don't recommend that. I think I was saying I don't recommend that approach in that case, but I was not saying I don't recommend hex beams.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Oh yeah, I've got no problem with hex beams, but it's like anything else. It's got to be the right solution for the right problem, if you will. Okay, I think Comment was next. Go ahead, Comment.
Hey Josh, this is Andrew Becker, November 0 Kilo Bravo Bravo. I called in at the beginning of last week about my antenna and the coax issue.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say I got a tester for it and I figured it out and it was just bad coax. I had no idea. Got it all trimmed up and working great now. But I did lose 17 meters, which I'm a little sad about, but I could use my external tuner for that one.
What antenna are you running again?
Horizontal loop.
Horizontal loop. And you lost 17. What's it cut for, the loop? How long?
It's cut for 40 meters, and looking at the website for the manufacturer, it was saying like that one should have a high SWR anyway, and it's like when I say I lost it, it's like around 4 or 5, so it's a little high for my radio to tune it, but with my external tuner, it's fine.
Okay, good, cool. All right, good for you. Well, I'm glad, and thank you for coming back and catching us all up on what was going on there. That was very helpful. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. No, thank you guys so much. That was an absolute lifesaver, and like I said before, I thought I was going crazy, so I just wanted to hop in real quick. I can't stay, but I just wanted to let you guys know.
I very much appreciate you taking the time and doing that. That's very nice of you to catch us up. So very good. Thank you. All right, who's next? Open questions, and then we'll play a little FT8, or maybe we'll do a single
throw
side
one at you.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, first time here, first time catching any of this, and actually still learning to use Discord, so you'll have to pardon me.
You sound great, so whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Name's Jason, KB2RRQ. In your video, you were showing that one house that kind of had that little restricted area with the power going across. I have a similar situation in my yard. And, where I've got power lines across the back of my yard, and the power drop to my house cuts diagonally across my yard. So I have to be very careful because of power lines. So I settled on a Hustler 4B TV. And I think I'm getting a lot of QRM from the power lines anyway, but like when I was trying to participate in the HF net last night, it's like I could hardly hear anybody. There's only I think Alec was about the only one I could really hear pretty regular. But I was just curious. I've only got maybe about 20 radials that I've put on it, and I was just wondering if maybe if I were to try to get some more on there, if that might actually help more.
How many radials again, and how long are they?
16. They're all kind of random length because of where I had to put it in the yard. I just started going out to the edges of the yard as I was going around. Some of them are about 30 foot long. Some of them are maybe 3 foot long. I was just trying to work around, and I've only got 3/4 the way around the antenna covered because I got to get under the deck for the rest of it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going to have a bit of a knoll kind of towards wherever that open spot is.
Gotcha.
Is that the direction where everybody was talking? Potentially?
Yeah, that would have been, let's see, southwest of my house, so very well could have been, so I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing, your match is all good. Have you done any kind of other tests on the antenna?
I mean, I've worked it on 20 and 40 primarily, and so far it tunes up nicely. It tunes up very nice. I mean, even with no radials. Mm-hmm. But it's I'm still playing with it.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, so you probably wouldn't have heard Evan, who's probably too close to you.
Yep.
And you would have heard me. Obviously, you're right at my first bounce or so, 500, 600 miles. So that does make sense. But you should have heard others, I would think, anyway.
Yeah, what's your noise floor like?
Oh, the noise floor at my house last night was probably on my meter was probably about an S7. I was struggling to hear anything.
So that's where they are. They're under the noise. So for you, it's probably worth your time. Like I'm debating on what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm either going to install another antenna so I can get back on 80 meters, or I'm going to do a proper neighborhood hunt for RFI. I think I'm going to do that because I need to make a video on a device. But you probably owe it to yourself to hunt down the RFI. That's your real problem. That's why you're not hearing people.
Well, heck, with all the switching power supplies and all the LED lights all around my neighborhood, it wouldn't surprise me where I'd find it, even in my own house.
Well, that's the place you start. You start within your house. You assume the call came from in the house, just like any good horror movie. You fix all the RFI in your own home first, as every good ham does first. Then you start to go outside and hunt down the other sources.
Yeah, I'll do some experiments, but yeah, thanks for the advice. How's that?
Yeah, no problem. Who's next? Who has a question? Ham radio, newbie or otherwise? It don't matter. Let's talk.
Yeah, Josh.
I saw Carol first, and then I think it's KE2 after that. So go Carol, and then we'll go back to KE2.
Now, you don't have to apologize. I'm also new to Discord, but I had a couple of questions. One, how bad would RFI have to be to prevent me from hitting a repeater? And then two, if anybody knows how I blew up my DMR radio, I could really use some help.
Okay, so two questions. First one, RFI only affects the receive side. It's not affecting your transmit. So the reason you're not hitting the repeater is because your signal's not making it to the repeater or some other issue that has to do with that repeater, right? So you likely need to try going outside and try to hit it from outside where you have more of an open area and possibly even using a different antenna. Does that make sense? You still there?
Don't miss the simple thing. Make sure he's got his tone set.
I'm still there.
Yeah, so of course you could have it could be programmed incorrectly too.
Well, I can hear all the repeaters around me just clear as a bell.
So that's not the same thing. So what Digital Rancher brings up is that you must have a PTT. It's usually called a PL tone or a CTCSS tone. That has to match the repeater.
Right. Yeah, I've got them programmed in off a repeater book.
That doesn't always, it changes. Remember, repeater book is just the last time they updated it. The repeater owner can change it on a whim anytime they want.
Well, I'm hoping to go to a local meeting and find out if that maybe is what the case is.
Excellent. So now regarding your actual radio blowing up, what is the radio and how did it all happen?
Well, I updated the firmware on my Radiodity GD AT10G, and I'm not sure what's wrong with it now, except I don't have any sound. And I can't reset the radio as per Radiodity's instructions.
Interesting.
What radio is this again?
It's the Radiodity GD AT10G.
Sorry, I missed that.
It's the Radiodity Golf Delta Alpha Tango 10 Golf.
Never mind, I thought you were talking about the DB25 equivalent.
No.
Have you tried contacting Radiodity?
I did, and they sent me the instructions to reset the radio. And I sent them back, like, as per my previous email, I can't do that.
You can't do what?
So I can't reset the radio. The instructions given no longer work.
What is it failing on?
It doesn't, like they say, push the talk button and the button right below it, and power on the radio, and it should bring up the boot to reset, and it just boots and starts transmitting when I do that. So
okay.
I don't know if anybody's had that issue or has any advice.
Well, I'll just throw it out to the chat. Has anybody had that issue before? I'm guessing that you probably have to work with Radiodity further, because if you're saying they sent you something to do and you tried it and it doesn't do the thing they said it would do, you likely have to go back to them and say, hey, this isn't working. How long ago did you buy it from them?
Not long. I'm thinking about just returning it and getting another one.
There you go.
Or a different radio altogether.
Did you buy it direct?
I bought it through Amazon, so it should be the easiest way to return it.
Okay, so if you're going to do that, you better do it ASAP because the terms kind of time out on that. So make sure you get out there and immediately do what you can to get it put back.
So I guess a follow-on question would be, is there a good cheap DMR radio that I could look into?
Define cheap. What is your definition of cheap?
I'd like to stay under like a couple $100, especially since at least locally I only need UHF.
Is that $200?
No, I mean I can go above that, but
well,
I just
okay, just give me a dollar amount. Just give me the stay under this amount.
under like 350.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you want a really good DMR radio, you should get the Anytone 858 or 878. What is it? Which is that? The 878?
The mobile or the HT?
The HT.
878, yeah.
878. Now, the other one that's pretty good is the Alinco. The Alinco DMR radio is pretty good, too. Has anybody played with the Alinco one?
Yeah, I have a couple of them.
So that would what's the model number on that one? Alinco model numbers are always weird.
Oh, man, I can't remember. I bought them about a year ago. I can look it up.
Yeah, I think the 878, like the UV2, might blow the budget there. It's a little high.
How much is it?
I think it's like $300 new.
He said 350.
Okay, I thought he said 200. Sorry, I missed.
Oh, I asked. He said a couple hundred, and then I said,
Gotcha,
okay, so 200. And no, I can go higher than that. Okay, 350.
Yeah, it is an excellent radio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull Dawn here. Buy a Motorola.
Sure.
So he's a new ham. So unless he's got a pocket Motorola person, that's probably not the way to go.
Actually, I only paid $275 for mine, but I will say though, getting the programming set up, without Frank, I wouldn't have been anywhere close to getting that software.
Which Frank?
The Frank on here.
Oh, gotcha. Not Tank.
Not Tank. No.
Tank does Motorola stuff since when? Okay, I was like, whoa.
Nope.
All right, we got to talk with Frank. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there you go. Cool. I hope that helped.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Somebody dropped the Alinco. Thank you. Jason did. Thank you, Jason. It is the DJ MD5 XLT. Don't you love those model numbers? $250. So that's also meet your expectations. It is a dual bander. So that is $100 cheaper than that Anytone.
The TYT, I think it's the MD380, is also a pretty good radio for a new ham, I think.
I'm not a big fan of those MD ones, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably tons of spurious emissions.
Yeah. All right, who is next? It was KE2BVM. Are you there with your question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when you had mentioned before about chasing down RFI, what equipment do you use?
Oh, buddy. Good question. Fantastic question. So, a couple of things. I will let me go to my overhead desk. I'll give you a little sneak peek in what I'm working on too. Oh yeah, the GD88. In fact, I've got a that's another one. I actually have one of those.
Yeah.
I've been a bad guy. They sent it to me. Well, I'll talk about it in a second. This is actually a really nice radio. How much is it? $189. That's even better. You might want to check that out. The Radioddity GD88. It's pretty good. And I'll talk more in the future. I can't. Let me go back to this question that we got on the docket. I'll come back to that radio. Okay. So what do I do? A couple of things. Where's my? All right. So, not this, not this, not this, not this. Definitely this. This goes. You actually can use your SA to hunt down RFI. It's actually pretty effective if you get the right antenna for it. But what I end up using more often than not is my 705. So you guys are all like, well, oh shoot, what do I have? You know, go watch my videos, by the way, on RFI hunting. You don't have to use a 705. It just turns out to be the radio that I use. And then along with that, one second. Hold on. So the thing I've been testing is this. So let me get this guy out of here. Is this guy. So this is a antenna. It's an active loop receiving antenna that has a high and low input. It has a tune capability because it's a loop. You got to adjust it. It has an HF VHF switch, and it comes with an attenuator on the side, an offset attenuator. And so these coax, this cut of coax is actually cut for a specific frequency set. So this is the 13 to 30 megahertz. Is that 30, really? Let's say 30. Yeah, 30 megahertz loop. Okay. It's got a compass, so you can use it to aim. The only downside with this type of antenna is it's bidirectional. So you have to be careful that you're not nulling out the wrong direction with this. And
I need it.
Go ahead.
I said I need it.
Not yet. Let me do some more work on it, okay? Let me finish the video that I'm doing. Because so let me be in full disclosure here. I paid for this. Okay, so that's the first thing. With that said, let me get a website going here. Let me pull up my web. I found this online. Okay, I'll show you where I found it. I found it on the AWRL website. So let's see if we can make it pop. So it's an ad that shows up. So if we jump around enough, we might get it because it's one of the rotating ads. Because I don't remember what the heck the price was. So let's try a couple more times, and then I'll just look at the damn thing. And
is it advertised for fox hunting?
It's advertised for RFI.
Okay.
It's specifically, they're like, nope, this is for the RFIs, the reefies. No, okay, they're doing the same ones. Let me see if I can. Nope. Oh, this is old school ad rotation.
Someone just linked it in the chat.
They found it? Okay. I love this. It actually changes when you refresh. This is old school. I mean, I'm not surprised, but this guy with the top hat always cracks me up. Not them, though. Maybe they cut their... Chat, I'm looking at the ads on the right-hand side of the page, so you guys following along. Okay. Never mind. So...
Was that KMRD in the hat?
No. So here it is. This is the Type HF-DF Vector Gun Handheld Direction Finding Antenna System. Yeah, so you can use this for RFI. You can use this for direction finding. In fact, everything that goes into this is what you would use to hunt RFI. Even more so if you were hunting for direction finding. You need things like the offset attenuators. So it's not cheap. This is... Yeah,
$200. Right?
So it's $175, but then you have to add in each the loop elements because the loop elements aren't all the same. So if you go back, where is the noise location gun? Yeah, this. Oh wait, yeah, that's it. So it's $399 if you get like all the loops. Okay, which you may need. I don't know. It may just be one band you're having a problem with, so you only get that one band, right? But it's $400 for this thing. So I'm not saying go nuts, but you get the gun, the handheld gun. You get the offset attenuator. That's the AT65 step attenuator, which actually is very good. So far, that's been my favorite thing out of the whole kit because I ended up using that I ended up using that in a couple of different instances outside of just with this antenna. And then the loops will take you, 5 loops will take you from 1.5 to 55 megahertz. So through HF. There you go. Okay.
It looks so Ghostbusters. I love it.
It's very spy-fi the way it looks, yeah. It's with that, even the font choice, right? Is that Apollo 11.
Yeah, that 1960s.
It's got that whole vibe going on with it. You know, that whole NASA, Houston Apollo. Yeah, that whole vibe. Like I've at work, I've opened up manuals that use that font, that whole coloring. Everybody's walking around smoking indoors, like that whole vibe.
Have you tried one of those MFJ 5007s?
Is that the sonic ear thing?
It's a parabolic microphone.
Yeah. I have not. That also, my understanding, is something that you use for mainly power line noise. That is my understanding. I have not. Lee Harrell, my wife and I bought this property 2 years ago in Texas.
Well, I was just going to jump in and say thanks.
Oh yeah, no problem. Did you good? Got your answer?
Yeah, 400. I've got to think about it, but yeah, I'm going to look into that.
Very good. And Frank over YouTube's Frank says, I use this for RFI. Sangean makes a really good shortwave receiver. At least it used to. Yeah, shortwave receivers work for hunting RFI.
Wonderfully.
What antenna do you use for it with it? Or do you just body block?
I just used the built. I used the built-in telescoping antenna that's on it.
How do you have you ever had to hunt for RFI outside of your house?
I have. I had this horrible. It's the pool pump next door to, behind my house. I had horrible noise on 20 and 15, and I was able to go around the whole neighborhood, and it only was strong at my house, a couple houses down, and over on their side of the fence, and that brought it right down. And any other direction I went, the noise went away.
Got it. So part of the problem I have with my RFI is that it's not close. It's somewhere based off of the height of my antenna. It's not close. So it's not like my neighbor. So I can't walk around my house and just point around until I get it. It's somewhere else. I have the hell of a time trying to track it down, but I got to just get in the truck and drive around tomorrow. I think that's going to be my day.
Oh, I had to. I could have driven around, but our neighborhood's so small, I walked around. There's also a bad transformer a couple blocks away, and I put in a request months ago to PG&E, and I put in another one the other day, and we're still waiting for that one to get fixed too. But that one I had to drive to. But that was, yeah.
Those are nightmare conditions, man. I hate having to deal with the power company. Really, really tough.
Sounds like your first experience. It sounds like your first experience you did a video on. You got pretty good results from it.
Yes. So I got very lucky, but I don't think most people get as lucky as I do.
For in the house, I love the Tiny SA. That's what I used, and that worked for me.
I agree. The Tiny SA and shortwave receivers, I've had plenty of luck using them for hunting down RFI. It's when you get outside that I need something with more directionality and more gain.
Yeah, Mike did a video on a device, but I can't find his video. It was an MFJ device that had the 2 little antennas that went out either direction. And it was set for 135 megahertz or something like that, which is good for hunting RFI outside the house.
Power line noise, right?
Well, kind of. I mean, that's certainly true. I mean, I can identify to a certain degree the noise that I'm getting off my lamps that are around the neighborhood, which just tells me that, like, again, my RFI is 180. I mean, it's 360 degrees around me because it's coming from the lamps that are in the neighborhood, the mercury vapors. And I was able to identify it with that. But I mean, city's not going to fix all of their lamps. I know that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that my RFI is going to be the post office lights. When they installed them, I noticed that was when 40 in particular went to hell. I had that power line problem. The power line company came out. They did a great job. And then all of a sudden, new noise, totally different. It's 40 meters. So we're trying to get through the voice chat questions right now for everybody that's on the Discord. For everybody that's watching on YouTube, you can join us. Discord link is in the description. I know there's a ton of people with text questions, so Jared, I see that you do want to ask a question. Remind me later, but let's see if we can get through all the voice questions first, and then we'll come back around. So next in the Discord, who has a voice question? Go for it.
So we've been talking about all these like external antennas for people's setups. Like, at what point is coax not the right answer, but like a hardline type coax worth it, or is it ever worth it?
Hardline's usually required if you're very high frequency, right? You're going very high frequency radios, or you've got a really long haul distance that you're running. So what solution do you propose that the different coax would be the fixer, if you will?
No, I have no problem at the moment. I'm just curious, like, when is that the appropriate solution to some sort of problem?
It's generally not, unless the coax is bad or they bought the wrong coax. So this video today that I did was people wanting to know what antenna they should put up for a given capability that they wanted to achieve in radio. The coax is an omnipresent requirement. Feed line is always needed. So the assumption is that if you go put up an antenna, you will have to attach a feed line. And that's somewhat reticent in my mind when I'm giving these answers that, I try to keep it under 100 feet. 100 feet of coax is usually about as far as I want to go. Alec went further, but he went with really high quality, expensive coax to be able to achieve that, right? So,
yeah, my next step is hardline, but I'm not doing VHF, UHF yet.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, if you want to put a VHF, UHF on the top of that thing, you probably do need hardline.
Yep. The distance is too far for even the best M&P.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Jay?
Yeah, that's really cool. I never knew like where that breaking point was.
There are charts out there from pretty much every coax vendor, if they're reputable anyway, that will tell you your feed line loss, what you lose to heat. Mm-hmm. And if you have long runs or you're using higher frequencies, then the loss is higher. So the hardline you're talking about comes in different sizes as well. They also have charts, but the loss is much lower as you get higher in frequency.
Oh, okay, yeah. I used to work at like some antenna sites that they had hardline, going all the way from the transmitter through the waveguides all the way up the tower. So yeah, I was just curious if that was worth it for hams.
Oh, it's required in some cases, particularly if you have to go with if you're doing high frequency, you're likely going to need more expensive coax and feed line.
Can y'all explain hardline? Because in my mind, I'm thinking like waveguide, but I know that's not what you're talking about.
Hardline,
not sure.
Hardline's usually very rigid coax with an outer rigid shield and an inner of air, an air core inner with a center pin that's running in the middle that's offset using plastic standoffs. That's usually hardline.
Sometimes it's even copper piping that's offset with like nylon bushings.
Yeah.
If you watch any videos on like FM tower sites, like FM radio stations, they'll just have big copper pipe, and that is their hardline. And it has a smaller element in the middle of that copper pipe.
The better repeaters will use it.
Yeah, Rolly showed some of those copper pipe setups because he does that kind of work.
There you go. Cool. All right. Who's next? Question in the chat.
Hi, Josh. I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
This is Danger. I've got actually two questions. The first being the antenna analyzer on the G90. Is that worth using, or should I be looking into something like a Tiny SA?
It works in a pinch, but Tiny SA is not an antenna analyzer. It's more of a spectrum analyzer. If you want to test a antenna, you would need to use something like a vector network analyzer or something specifically designed for testing antennas.
Okay, I appreciate that. My second question is, I'm looking at putting up a long wire in my backyard, but I got kind of a small backyard. My power lines to my house go straight down the middle of it.
Oh.
Okay. I have a J-pole and an 8th wave CB antenna on one side of my yard, and that's kind of where the only place I have for antennas. Is that going to be super detrimental to have a long wire almost right up next to those, or how far away does that need to be, you think?
Well, it needs to be far enough that you're safe. That's the first and only real requirement, right? Is that you don't do anything that could get you or anyone else hurt, right? So if you've got occasional windstorms or something like that, you don't want it to like get blown up and over the power line, causing a big problem. That could be really bad. The second is, if the power line can't be moved, which we assume it's not going to be moved, then it doesn't matter if it's good or not, because that's what you got to deal with. So just try it. Just get out there, set it up in a safe manner, and try it and see how you do.
Okay, very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I would like to remind people that in ham radio, my answer is oftentimes, I don't know, you tell me. Because you are the best, you're the best person to answer your situation. Like, is this going to be a problem with this power line? Likely, if it's safe, you're probably fine. Is it going to cause a problem? Probably, but it doesn't matter. You can't move it, so have a go at it. See what you can do. Do it cheap. Try cheap first before you go all nutso and buy multi-$1,000 antennas just to find out that, you got power line noise up the wazoo. All right, who's next? We'll take
Josh.
Okay, I see. NK Smith, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a couple years ago you did this video and I was like, okay, whatever. And then a couple months later I did the antenna you recommended.
Yeah.
And it's still up today. So I just say, listen up, get an antenna up and start listening.
What antenna did you actually end up going with?
Well, I live in a manufactured housing community, and I've got a stealth antenna up into a park behind me, and it's working great. It's a 135-foot end-fed half-wave.
You ran a stealth wire 130 feet into a park?
Yes, sir.
I love it. I love the malicious compliance. I love it. Good job. So very good. Glad to hear it. Okay, cool.
I'm just saying, do it. Get an antenna up. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, just do it. And you can always make it better. But having nothing is the worst situation, right? Just get something up in the air and get going.
Wire is cheap. Playing with new antennas is the fun part. Just
yeah.
Build them, play with them.
Wire is cheap. I like that. That should be that's gonna. I'm gonna put that on a shirt, I think. All right, who is the next?
Yeah.
Mr. Charles?
Yeah, I just wanted to hop on and say hi. I got my tech on Friday, and the VEs in the Discord were very helpful in setting up a drop-in test for my tech, and I was much appreciative.
Hey, all right. Congratulations.
Also, I had a question about, and maybe this is a little off topic, but FRS versus GMRS versus MERS. Got a team of people that are actually going to be looking for a high-powered rocket out in a field, and once it lands, and might be up to a couple miles away from each other and need a good, probably non-ham way of communicating with each other.
Likely GMRS. All outdoors, though? Is it going to be a dense forest?
Probably non-ham. Out in a field in Kansas.
MERS might be good, too, because MERS is basically 2 meters. Hey, NK Smith, you got a hot mic, FYI. So MERS would probably be good, too. FRS is not going to be probably enough power. That's the likely reality.
That's kind of what I was thinking, and I was just worried about the legality of GMRS with non-family members, or how that all worked.
Well, they all should go get a license. It's good for 10 years, and it's $35. Who cares?
A bunch of college students. We're all pretty broke.
$35? You all need to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. That's not much money. No, I'm just kidding.
just don't go out for beers one Friday night, and you'll have the money.
Well, I was going to say Starbucks for a week, and you'd have the money.
All that avocado toast. You
That's
just got to
fair.
stop eating it, and then you're. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're all kidding. We don't mean that. MERS is limited to a couple of watts, but he's 2 meters and outside in a field. he's outstanding in his field, guys. So 2 meters is probably going to be fine in the sense MERS. But yeah. Okay, how many miles? What's
I
the
will
max?
say, based off experience, the FRS is not going to be far enough. For a high power rocket, you're chasing that down a good ways away.
At a guess, the team might be up to 3 miles end to end across this field.
But they'd have a potential relay station in the middle, right? Everybody out there was looking for him. So some people might not be able to hear. Not in the middle.
Potentially, it just depends on where we're spread out.
Is this in the middle of nowhere where there's no cell phone reception too?
Yeah, that's the reason we are looking at radios.
I see.
Can I ask what state you're in?
We're in Michigan, but we will be flying at the Argonia Cup in Kansas.
Yeah, probably GMRS, because anything else is not going to be powerful enough if you're all spread out that much, unless you have a lot of people.
Are you driving, or are they all on foot?
Possibly a mix, but mostly on foot.
Okay, so James Hannibal made a very excellent point. So GMRS also has mobile radios, which will do 50 watts. And within a couple of miles, you will hear those stations. So if you had a couple of cars with mobile radios set up for 50 watts in them, they'll easily be heard by everybody. Even a 20-watt station will be heard by everyone.
So question, could you get your club or whoever's sponsoring this to pay for the radios? I get your college kids and money isn't, is a thing, but could you get whoever's I mean, you're already getting, I'm guessing, like G-class motors for rockets, so.
I think they're worried about the licensing, not so much the radios. The club,
yeah, the radio. We've got club funding for buying the actual hardware. The licensing is more the issue because I don't know that the school or our sponsors will pay for that.
Well, I was just kind of pushing that they should ask for both to be included.
It's a possibility. It's something we'll look at. I actually have a budget meeting with the team tomorrow. So we're also kind of looking for recommendations for hardware.
Okay, so I would push to have them pay for the license as well, at least for a couple of people, right, to get you guys covered. You probably all don't need to have a handheld, I'm guessing. You probably all don't need to have it.
No, we're planning on buddy systems just for safety.
Sure. Yeah. And then as far as equipment goes, there are a number of good GMRS radios. I happen to like the Wouxun brand of GMRS radios. There are a number of 50-watt GMRS radios, but I don't know that Wouxun has a 50-watt. Most of their handhelds are good, though. So you might be able to get away with just handhelds.
Yes, I run a Wouxun 50-watt, or the 1000.
Which drop the link to it, Don, if you can find it.
Yeah, it's not by two-way radios.
Okay,
I'll drop the link.
Would CB be out of the question?
By the way, are you tracking the rocket with it, or are you just communicating?
No, just for on the ground finding it.
Oh, okay.
We'll be using I got my ham license actually for the telemetry on the rocket and for some RDF once it's on the ground. And some of the other club members that are staying long term are also getting ham licenses for that same purpose. But that's not necessarily our primary communication once we're out searching.
Sure.
So, not helping with your question, but I am curious, for the telemetry, what are you using radio-wise?
It is an Altus Metrum Telemega.
Okay, cool.
Right on.
It uses 70 centimeter and some custom protocol.
That's
yeah,
a good
I've
question.
heard of it before. I didn't know if y'all like brewed your own or something.
Good question from Lee Harrell. Does the school have a commercial license that you may be able to borrow? Probably not, because they're going to be commercial licenses are usually geographically located. You can't just go out in the field into the middle of nowhere and use a commercial license in almost all cases. Don dropped the link for the KG1000 Plus. I'm going to pull that up too, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, Jason Ham Radio 2.0 pushes those quite a bit, and I've got one. They're excellent radios. And by the way, you can
like
take two of those
$400.
radios, hook them together, and they will become a repeater.
It's like $400 though.
Yeah, but
And
it's a $400 good radio.
Glenn does have a good question about this. Sorry. How about seeing if there might be a local ham club who might be willing to assist?
They're going to have to go huff it out in the field. They're going to have to walk around. I mean, yeah, reach out to the ham club. Does the college have a ham club?
The college doesn't, but there are some in the city. But whether they'd be willing to travel to Wichita or to Argonia for a couple days is a good question. I met with them for the first time this Thursday, and it's all a bunch of old guys.
Oh, yeah. Talk to a club down there in the Argonia area. See if someone down there, see if there's some young guys there.
Yeah, your college doesn't have a ham club, right?
From the sounds of it, there used to be one, but
okay,
might be time for a revival.
Yeah, UTD does have one, and it's quite active, and we've got a ton of members in our club from UTD.
All right. Well, that's probably what you need, right, to get going at least.
Yeah, much appreciated.
Cool. I would say that Don's link to buy2wayradios.com, pretty much any of the GMRS radios on buy2wayradio.com are going to be pretty good. So,
and I believe you get a discount with Jason. No, sorry.
I have a code. You can use mine.
Well, there you go. You should be giving your code.
Where is it? Okay, hold on. This will take you to a ham radio, but let me buy2wayradios.com. I have an affiliate link as well. So if you take that link, it'll take you to that KGQ10 that I did a review on. But that'll also anything you buy on that site will give you a discount on is my understanding.
Cool. So one more question that's not at all ham related, but how high are y'all expecting to get? Just out of curiosity.
Competition rules say we have to be between 10 and 45,000 feet.
Okay, competition. Cool, and good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Hey, Josh, another idea. Do you remember that track soar? That APRS transmitter that you can put in a balloon, right? They're super lightweight. That might be something neat to put on board. That'd be the easier way to find it. It'll beacon out APRS.
That's not bad. At least, yeah, if you're in that close, you should be able to hear it, even if it's just lying flat on the ground. Have you guys thought about that? Well, that's also
the flight computer does have APRS functionality built in, but it has a beacon that it pulses out a tone every 5 seconds or so once it's on the ground.
Are you using that to then hone in on where it's at?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're already doing that. All right. Good.
Yeah, it sounds like the GMRS is mainly so that y'all can talk to each other.
Yeah, it's for the ground team.
Yeah.
Well, do this. Whatever you decide, why don't you come back and tell us about it and tell us how you did on the competition. We'd love to hear it.
Will do.
Hey, thank you very much. All right. Okay, who's next? Anybody with a question before we take I'm going to take one more voice question, then we're going to take some text questions we've got in the chat.
I have a short, dumb one.
Is that Greg or Killer Spud?
That's Greg.
Okay, go ahead.
So DX Engineering has a listing for radial wire and antenna wire. They're the same price. I can't tell the difference. Does anyone on here know if there is a difference? Because I'm looking at doing stuff, but they have 1,000-foot spools of radial wire and 1,000-foot spools of antenna wire.
Yes, there's a difference.
Do you want to drop the link? If you've got them, we'll pull it up.
The difference usually is that radio wire is not meant to be put under tension. It will stretch if you do. And antenna wire is usually cord wire that is meant to be put under tension.
What's the cost? If the cost is the same, though, why is it the same? What does it matter?
Probably more copper.
More copper
in
for
the
the
radio
solid
wire.
core? Yeah, that makes sense.
And does DX Engineering sell by itself D10, or is it DX10 now? DX10.
They used to.
Well, I mean, that's Callum's stuff. So that, I mean, they just got a bunch of his deals, and That's what I use.
Not the radio DX10, not the FEDX10. It's the
right.
Yeah, he's talking about the wire.
Yeah, it's Callum's cable or
the HyperFlex 10 or not.
They market
No,
as
what
DX Engineering's
DX.
house. They mouse it as their brand.
Yeah, they have
It's
their
the
own
same.
brand.
MCOM sells their Kevlar cable all by itself.
The really good stuff is the stuff you buy from Soda Beams.
I have DX50 from Callum, and that is indestructible stuff.
Yeah, I use his. I've got spools of his wire because I always.
So the tension versus not tension is probably the best description I've heard so far, which makes sense. But these are the first links I could find. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared. But the specs, you scroll down the specs, same diameter, same this and that, but that it couldn't tell the difference. So tension versus not makes more sense.
You can see it. So one, it's non-shielded. The radio wire is non-shielded. And two, you can see it's just a solid hunk of wire. Versus the antenna wire, it calls out stranded copper with UV resistant
I might have. I apologize. I might have linked the wrong radial wire, but okay.
Hey, why do you
I
need
found it here.
1,000 feet, if I might ask?
Why not?
All right, I found the right link for the radial wire, but same thing. Is their price? I think is exactly the same for both, but I'll assume it's just a tension or it's a metallurgy difference.
It does say,
looking at that one,
it says
I don't know.
stranded. 14 gauge stranded. They're both 14 gauge stranded. Here's what you do. Call them and ask them.
That was my next step on Monday.
Because it sounds like maybe just a bit of computer nonsense that they've got it
Call
keyed
them,
at.
ask for.
Yeah, because the driver to this was like a week and a half ago, and I had itched to build an antenna. The antenna wire was out of stock, and the radio was in stock. And I'm sitting there going, do I wait or do I buy?
I would shop around for Kevlar core wire and see what the price difference is personally.
Yeah, that's good stuff for antennas.
That's what Callum sells, right? That's his DX50.
And
it's like
Soda Beams, and
it's like $1.25 a foot, maybe £1.25 a foot.
Yeah, what you're buying from DX Engineering there is basically 14 gauge THHN, which is the same stuff you can get at Home Depot. I hate to say that, no heat on them.
Oh,
but
snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have never needed 1,000 feet of radio wire ever.
Radial?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only got 80 meters of radial out. That's the max I've ever put out. Never needed any more.
I had 300 meters of radio wire.
Okay, let's go to the text chat. So Jared, if you're still there, drop your question. I'm keeping an eye out for it, or just link me to it, because I know you're in the Discord. I'm not going to get into a conversation of why anyone might need 1,000 feet of radial wire. I just assume they've got a reason.
160 meter vertical.
That's it.
Yeah.
But like three of them.
true.
But three of them, because they've got them phased.
Yeah.
It's a phased 160. Yeah.
Also, Alec had a nebula, so.
That's right.
It's not a matter of need, Josh.
Well, I'm with you. If you build your own random wire antenna, what is the connector called to attach the wire so it can plug into the radio? So a random wire antenna is seldom just a wire that goes straight into the antenna. There's usually some kind of matching device. Likely it's called an unbalanced transformer that takes it from the specific impedance of a long wire into that to match to the 50 ohm impedance of the coax, or basically what goes along the coax, to connect to your radio. Your radio expects a 50 ohm impedance. So you usually have some kind of matching device for a random wire antenna, and then you have to use a tuner, et cetera, et cetera. If you're talking about like for a shortwave radio, like a little radio that you plug a wire into, that's a whole different ball of wax. It will depend on, like if you took a picture of the connector and posted it in Discord, we'd be able to tell you exactly what it is. But if you're talking just for radio coax connections for like ham radio, base station radios, like the big radios, that's usually a PL259 connector. PL, plug. Just think plug, center pin, plug. And SO239 is the female version. Think of socket versus plug. Socket, plug. Is Jared gone? Okay, there's Jared. Oh, he wants to ask us a antenna question. So, hi Josh, I'm a technician studying for my general and want to do HF, but I don't know what bands yet till I play around on them. So it's really, the bands are based off of like day-night cycle, right? It's not necessarily which ones you like. It's just really just a matter of which ones are open. I have really tall trees on my property. Good. I also have an old TV antenna beside the house, if that helps. Limitations are coax must be able to reach house if in front. The barn is, well, so you tell us how far away. You got to tell us how far away the barn is, right? Those are required pieces of info. That's your property? 1.55 miles? I don't know. So I don't have enough detail here in this image, unfortunately. What? It's in there. Sorry, Leia just rolled in looking for a hammer.
Bang bang.
Most is farmland. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't like throw a long wire into one of the trees. Build yourself an end-fed half wave and throw it into the trees, because I can't, like, I don't see their home. I don't know how far away the trees are to your home. I don't know how far away the coax run is from your tree to the thing. And we need more info here, unfortunately. This is a bit lacking for us to be able to help you. Like, if I see a blue thing, is that like a silo? And then it looks like there's a farm building? I don't know. It's also kind of blurry. This could be a circuit board for all I know. Kind of, it looks like it. Blue is house. Yeah, how many feet to the big tree? How many feet? Okay, unfortunately, Jared, I need you in voice chat to be able to continue this, because we're going back and forth in text, and it's kind of not going to work. I appreciate you don't have a microphone, so if you want, send me an email, josh@hamtactical.com. See if you can get some better pictures, and then like take a picture of the ground area, like how far, and tell me how far where you want to put your shack is to where you want to like assemble an antenna or potentially assemble an antenna, and then tell me your budget. Budget is important, and make sure the subject line is antenna recommendations from Josh, because that's what I search for. If it's anything but that, I'm not gonna do it. Wait. I appreciate everybody. You're sending your images of your home and whatnot, but if you're not in voice chat, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to try and do it live, bouncing questions back and forth.
How many of these people can we dox from their satellite images?
We will not be doxing anybody, Jay Bothell.
I made sure to blot out my address.
Good. Yeah, don't provide me anything that's private. Okay. I saw questions on the YouTube side. Question, hey Josh, what is that program you have running on the bottom right of your screen? The bottom right is my radio. That's my 7610.
Wouldn't any overhead image be enough to dock somebody if you really wanted to try? I mean, there's reverse image search now.
We're not doing that, though. We're not talking about that on the live stream. Sorry.
No, I don't encourage doing that. I'm just saying.
I don't even want to mention the word. I don't even want it to show up to a bot or anything like that. So don't mention it again, please. Can a 10-meter radio that only transmits full sideband receive USB or LSB? Dual sideband? So the question is from Vacon. Can a 10-meter radio that only transmits full sideband, so I think they're saying dual sideband or double sideband, receive USB or LSB? Yeah, it'll receive it. It'll just sound a little weird.
I was doing it last night on the HF net. Alex can tell you.
Dual sideband?
Yeah,
On
actually,
purpose?
it was no,
Okay.
not on purpose. It was a database error with the Anon.
Okay. Question from Kill King 110. Question: my house is surrounded by power lines. Could that be blocking the signals from my handy-talkie GMRS? Absolutely not. It does not block anything. It may be noisy. You might not be able to hear anybody, but you should be able to get out, no problem. All right. Let's go say hi to our YouTube friends. There's the Discord. So who do we had? We had a K8MRD, Ham Radio Tube, but he had to hop off, it sounds like. So let's go down the list. I think I saw Ham Radio for Non-Techies, but I think he might have jumped off. We didn't get to him soon enough. And Digital Rancher, you're there. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. Going great. Happy weekend, everybody.
Anything fun and new and interesting coming up for you?
I've got a couple of things I'm playing with. I don't know if these are always going to turn into a video or not, but I've stumbled upon an old Lenovo ThinkPad X220, and I am trying to get that thing set up with 73 Linux. So I've got that going on. That'll be my new portable radio laptop. So I'm working on that. I'm also doing hopefully I'll be doing a video tomorrow that will help people when they're trying to start working satellites, and if they're struggling with the Doppler and how to manage the Doppler. And so I'm going to try to do a quick video on that, just to try to help people. That seems to be one of the things that intimidates folks.
You just grow a third arm. That's easy.
Yeah, that's right. It's the octopus syndrome. So yeah. I'm going to try to give people some strategies for how to manage Doppler and take some of the pressure off people trying it for the first time.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right. So Ham Radio for Non-Techies looks like he bounced, and I think... oh, wait, there he is. Ham Radio for Non-Techies. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, Josh. Again, another fantastic show. I love when you do these type of shows. People can kind of write in and ask for advice on stuff. I'm sitting here watching on my TV downstairs, I'm looking at this product and go, oh, DX Commander. Oh, DX Commander.
I mean, hypothetically, you could always say DX Commander. The problem is that I think people are too scared of a vertical antenna for some reason. They think
that such a cool thing to have once you get it up.
They think that it's going to be this thing that they put in their yard. It's just going to you won't be able to guard, you won't be able to mow the lawn, you won't be able to do all these things, and it just can't be further from the truth. The realities of it are it just sits there. It's not a big deal. The radio lines can be pushed under the ground. They're really easy to do that. They're very easy to use, and they're very effective.
It's funny you mention that, because next week's video from me, I'm doing exactly that. I'm going to show you how to hide and bury your radials, all 24 of them, and not have that problem. Because I remember I told you I chewed mine up.
Yes.
With my lawnmower.
And that happens.
I'm stupid sometimes.
That happens, but it's not a big deal to replace them. It's real easy. So that's going to be a great video. Yeah.
So well, here's the other cool thing. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. You guys know that DX Engineering now carries a lot of stuff from DX Commander.
Yes.
Well, one of the things they also carry is the DX10 wire.
Oh.
And it was not available for the longest time. And I called him up about a month ago. He's like, oh, it'll be out here September 13th. Well, I just happened to check September 14th, and it still showed it up there, but said not available. So I called him and said, hey, guys, what's the deal? He goes, let me do some checking. So he went and checked a little bit. He said, I'll call you back. And he calls me back about 15 minutes later. He's like, somebody in our IT department that handles the website screwed up, hit the wrong button. It is live. We actually do have it. We fixed it. Go ahead and order it. We'll send it out to you. So I did.
Nice.
Now, the only thing is they don't tell you how much comes in the spool. So I'll let you know right now, it's 100 meters of wire, which is about the same. I think it's the same amount that Callum sends you when you buy a DX Commander to do both your radials and your elements.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be 300 meters should be plenty, or 300 feet should be plenty to do all that.
Yeah, he drops the spools now. So if they're carrying the spools, it'll be exactly what Callum does.
Yeah. But to anybody out there that's afraid of those things, once you get that thing up there, you've got a resident antenna. You don't have to have any kind of a tuner. Once you tune it up with a analyzer, you're good for 5 or 6 bands. You can even add more bands. You do what Mike did, adding the 12 meter, and I think you can add some other stuff to it. And you can even add an 80 meter if you don't mind another wire going across your yard somewhere for another 75 to 100 feet.
Yeah, it's the DX commander, like those funny graphs where it's like total noob. I want a random wire antenna, and then like they get skilled, and then they're like, I want a resonant antenna, and then ultimately the sage-like advice guy is on the other side, and it's like I went with a DX commander. So it's a resonant antenna, meaning every band you're putting on, you need no tuner. You don't need anything. In fact, if you have to use a tuner, you built it wrong. You did it wrong. Right. And so that means they're incredibly efficient. They're very effective at what they do. They function very well. And it's a great first antenna, but it's also a really good like second antenna. Because if you have a setup like my radio here, I can have simultaneous dual receive. And I can have a horizontal antenna and I can have a vertical antenna. And you can phase between them. In some cases, one antenna is going to do a lot better on receive than the other one does, and you can kind of balance it out. In fact, my radio will kind of try to auto balance for you. So it's great. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I know you were saying about, people get apprehensive about it. I was exactly in that same position when I became a new ham. I just gotten my general. I just started the channel trying to find new things to talk about to try and, catch up with you guys. And at the time, I was like, okay, I know enough here. I'm not going to do this DX commander thing. I saw all those radios. It really threw me. I was like, where am I going to put those? So I went out and bought a Chameleon, thinking that's the be all end all antenna for the whole world, the Chameleon M-Pass. And I quickly found out that I was wrong. So when I finally did make the jump by the DX Commander Classic and set that up, I had a little bit of help. I had I actually at the time I did have my rig expert AA600 to tune it. So that's the other thing. If you don't have a tuner, you got people around you that might have one. Somebody in your club might have one. They'll come over and let you borrow it or use it with you and help you out. There's solutions to everything out there.
Correct.
But I liked it so much. I bought the Expedition. That's why I pack for doing my POTA stuff, and I'll bring it anywhere and set it up about 15 minutes or less, and I'm on the air and having a great time.
Yeah, not enough can be said about the takeoff angle and the fact that there is no height requirement like there is in most other antennas, where to get the proper takeoff angle or a good takeoff angle, you really need height above ground.
Yeah.
And this is a ground mounted thing. It sits on the ground. There is no need for that. And yet your takeoff angle is excellent.
Very, very true.
The other question I had asked earlier, about a year and a half ago was, what if you don't have enough space? What if you got to put the DX Commander up against like a fence line? Then your radios aren't going 360 around the thing. Well, you don't have to have it that way. You can have them going in 180. You can have it go in any direction you want.
Right.
As long as you have them out there. It does not matter.
You should radials bunched all together in one direction, and you probably won't notice the difference.
Yeah, you should caveat that. Technically, you do get gain in the direction of the most metal on the ground with your ground plane.
Right.
But whether or not you notice is a different story.
Yeah, it might be an insignificant difference.
Right.
But I want to eliminate the guys in Mexico.
See, you can use it to your advantage.
Exactly. I actually, because of where my patio is, and I have the DX Commander right against the patio, towards the south where a lot of that comes from, I can't really put radials down, so it works out.
Yeah, that's my spiel, Josh. Like I said, I'm getting to work on this video. It's just been really tough. Again, it's 97 plus degrees still down here, and
holy smokes!
And you're filming by yourself. The camera gets hot and shuts down. You don't know when it shuts down. So you got to keep stopping, making sure it's still filming, and go back.
Yeah.
Doing my job. So
I hear you.
But
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's see. Is there anybody other YouTubers that I missed that are on the Discord? Oh, Frank, how's it going? Go for it, man.
Yeah. I also see Gray Man Poda in here, but he's muted too. Nothing much going on here. I'm working a lot, and the other side job, my photography side, has been a little busy. had a shoot a couple weekends ago, and I've been sitting here on my off time editing that. But other than that, nothing ham radio related coming up. I'm hoping to get out and do a POTA and maybe a soda activation in October, and there might be a video for that. But
Good.
other than that, that's about it.
Oh, very good. Right on. Well, let's check in with Gray Man POTA. Is he actually on voice or? Oh, he is. Right on. How's it going, man? Oh, he unmuted. Maybe he hasn't set the PTT button. Let us see how long it takes for him to figure that out. I'll let him dink around with his setup, and we'll come back to it. Let's see. So Kill King, just saw your response on YouTube to my question. Thank you for now I know people can hear me, but I can't hear them. Oh, no. Yeah, work on that. So Douglas is asking me about his horse fence antenna. That's kind of like a maypole dipole type of look. That's kind of cool. I like that. I'm curious how you'll do with that. Because it's going to have like wide, probably pretty wide banded with the skin effect on that, I'm guessing. Somebody else had a question that I missed on the YouTube side. There was a question on what is my rooftop tower. So it's called the Glen Martin Tower, but I think they ran out of business. So you can't like get them anymore. And so I was asked if I have another recommendation for a rooftop tower. I do not. I don't know of any other one.
Yeah, that was Killer Spud that asked that.
Yeah, sorry, Killer Spud. I don't know. So sorry about that.
All right, thanks.
Did Gray Man get it sorted? We'll see. All right, so YouTube, if you want to drop your questions, just make sure you do at Ham Radio Crash Course and or put question in the title. All right, anybody else on the Discord side? Questions? Let's take them. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep working that FT8. Maybe we'll do some testing of ham radios. How's that sound? Go for it.
I've got one.
All right.
Was it you a while back that visited MFJ at their headquarters and did a kind of a tour?
Me?
Yeah, have you? Was that not you that went out there?
No,
Not
that
me.
was somebody that lived near there.
This has been many a moon ago too, but for some reason I just thought about this antenna that one of the YouTubers mentioned that they were working on, but I've never actually seen it come out in full development. It was supposed to be like an all-band vertical self-tuning.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too.
So they joined us on the YouTubers Hamfest, but that was an in development product, and I have not seen it. That was on my channel, but I was not there. They were just live on my show.
Oh, okay.
No, in fact, I have not. They also had that box fan, like that box fan antenna, that square rectangle thing. Yeah.
Okay. I was just kind of curious if that ever came to be
Not that I know of. Remember, MFJ is like kind of the king of like quirky products. They've got a lot of really weird stuff that they've come out over the years. That's one of those things that probably might have died on the vine, that just kind of like never really got brought to implementation or manufacture, which happens.
But I will say their Moxons are really, really good. But, you know, you will have problems if you order one that you might be missing parts, but they're pretty good about sending them to you. And they're just aluminum rods, so that's really, there's not a lot to mess up there, but boy, do they work well.
Yeah, there's a new king of quirky. No, James, you're still the king of quirky products. MFJ, they get a bad rap, and some of their products are kind of cheap, admittedly, but a lot of their stuff is really good. If you, dear viewer, take the true ham mentality of, I'm going to dink with this until it's right. A lot of MFJ stuff is like 80%, 90% of the way there, or it's just kind of on the cheaper side, and we kind of just make do with it. And there's a lot of stuff that you can get into service, and you can keep it going just by, you know, repairing it, fixing it, tightening up the things, resoldering some of the connections, and they work just fine after that, from my experience.
Oh, by the way, on another point on the DX Commander, what you can put them up and leave them up for literally years, because I have done it.
Yes. Oh, I found it. Okay, James, I wanted to answer this one in particular, so thanks, James. What are your thoughts on the dipoles in the attic for neighborhoods or, whatever? If that's the only thing you have, then that's what you have. If the option is no antenna, then of course I'm going to say put a dipole up in your attic. The problem you're going to run into is that a lot of attics or a lot of roofs are now using radiant barriers, and that's basically a metallic sheeting, and that metallic sheeting just won't work with your antenna, with your radio. In fact, it basically nullifies your antenna that's underneath it. So as long as you don't have underlayment, you don't have a radiant barrier, it will work as an antenna. The question will be, how well will it work? And the answer is probably not that great, but it's better than nothing. So that's what I would say. I would also highly recommend just try running a really thin wire out your backyard to a tree or something like that. Likely no one's going to notice. That's my recommendation. All right.
So I've been trying to do FT8 with my G90, and I've been using the Zygu, is it the CE19 or whatever, their little data communication thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll work for about, 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then it all of a sudden stops working. Is that like an RFI problem?
Can you give me more information? What specifically stops?
So the DigiRig communication stops working, so my PTT stops working.
Meaning it the USB fails?
I'm unsure. Once it leaves the computer, I'm unsure what's failing.
Once it leaves the computer. So it's not PTTing anymore?
Correct, yeah.
Is the audio path also dying?
I'm not sure how to tell that on the G90 without it PTTing.
You would tell it on the waterfall on the receive side of your FT8.
Oh, so my receive is working fine.
Your receive is working fine, meaning you're still seeing a waterfall? Are you sure it's real data, or is it just frozen?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so what happens a lot is, so yes, the G90 suffers, I've found, with RFI getting in the pipes, the USB pipes, and gumming it up and making you drop your USB connection to the computer, which will show itself as a failure to PTT, or what will sometimes happen, which is a lot of fun, is it will start transmitting and then just won't stop. You'll
what
lose,
a disaster.
You'll lose all audio, you'll use all everything, and then it just won't stop transmitting. And you literally have to pull the plug on the radio. That's always a fun one. It won't hurt your radio. It's probably fine, but regardless. The best thing to do in those cases is probably put a ferrite on it. Put a toroid on it. Have you tried that?
No, I haven't. I don't know what kind of toroid to buy.
Okay. How much you want to spend?
I mean, I suppose whatever it takes to fix it.
Okay.
$200, $300.
Oh no, we're going to spend way less than that. It's just depending on how good of a toroid you want. So first of all, I'm pulling up the Xiegu website right now. The CE19 is the interface that you're talking about. I have one of these too. I don't love it. I don't love it at all. They did come out with a new one that is much better. It's basically like the DigiRig. What? Get out of here. What is going on? Let me get that closed. Okay, let me back up here for a second. Where is that new interface? You have to buy it with the with their cheap radio.
I mean, would a DigiRig just be the answer then?
DigiRig's better, much better. Yeah, there it is. This guy. This guy. The DE19. $70. Yeah, just go buy a DigiRig. DigiRig's going to be better for you. There's that. Unless you want to run, do you have any aspirations of getting the amplifier for the Xiegu G90?
I use it as mobile at the back of my pickup truck, so no, not really.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm going to go to Palomar Engineers. I'm just clicking on the first link.
I might have just dropped the link for you, Josh.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, great. You already went straight to it. Okay. So we're going to ferrite core products or antenna products, and we want, mix 31's fine. I will sometimes do,
and the different mixes are for the different ranges of radio frequency, right?
Correct. Yeah. So you're gonna probably get a ring, but rings are not necessarily conducive to being outdoors. Like if you bang that up against something metal, or worse, you dropped it and it hit the ground, it'll shatter. So oftentimes I'll go with a snap-on ferrite, just because they have a plastic shell. Now, what you're going to do with this, there's actually it's kind of almost counterintuitive. I have found that the best way to tackle RFI getting back in through your radio into the digital connection through the USB and into your radio is to choke the feed point of your antenna into the radio. I'll repeat that. You should wrap a ferrite or the coax around a ferrite as many times as you can, that's reasonable, and then plug it into your radio right there at that point. I have found that solves the majority of problems with USB cables.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, then if you still have a problem, then you add a ferrite to the USB cable, and generally I will add it as close to the computer side as possible, not the radio side. So you want to choke the feed line into the radio, and you want to choke the USB right at the computer. That's been my experience. Those are the priority. Always radio first, then computer.
And if it gets real bad, you want to choke both ends of both cables.
Yes, but no. And let me explain why. If you are running an end-fed half-wave, do not put the choke at the feed point of the antenna. Never do that, because you're effectively killing the other side of the antenna for the end-fed half-wave. An end-fed half-wave, unless you're running a secondary radial line, must use the shielding of your coax as the other side of the antenna.
But apes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I use an MCOM3 as my antenna when I do that stuff, so that would be a bad idea.
Say that again, Don. What was that?
Well, ape says you always poise.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, and in fact, adding a counterpoise to an end-fed half-wave is one of the other good ways to reduce RFI getting back into the shack as well, from my point of view.
The MCOM is not an end-fed half-wave.
The MCOM is not an end-fed half-wave, but so in my pantheon of RFI getting back into the shack regarding long-wave or long-wire antennas, end-fed half-waves are some of the least offenders of that from my experience. They particularly at QRP levels. If you go to 100 watts, all bets are off. But anyway, it's like 9-to-1 unon random wires. Those are real bad. I've never had a good time with those guys. They always leak a bunch of RF. And then somewhere in between that is the myriad of other turns of transformers that you may experience out in the wild.
Yeah, and I'm running the car end-fed half-wave basically the way that Ape says to do it, which again includes a counterpoise.
I do too.
And it works great.
It does.
I don't put a choke on it at all.
Neither do I. And again, having the radial will help with that. I agree. I think.
Yeah. And they recommend 17 foot. I don't know why, but I cut mine for 17 foot. Works great.
I did maybe the instructions have changed, but I cut my transmitting line, the driven element, and then just all the leftover I threw on the radial. And then I checked the tuning. That's basically what I did.
Well, yeah, I actually took the leftover and measured it for 17 foot and cut a little bit off the end of it. But yeah, I don't know, because that's what the instructions that came with the car antenna said.
Yeah. So if you buy anything from Palomar, make sure you use the coupon HRCC 73, all one word. It should get you 10% off. That is not an affiliate link. I'm not getting paid. They just wanted to do something nice for our viewers, and there you go. So you can.
But
but
if you buy the DigiRig, be sure and use Josh's code for 10%.
Oh yeah, if you buy the DigiRig, please buy it through Gigaparts, and you can find the link in the description for this video, and you'll get a discount on that too. So yeah, literally everything on this page, we mentioned it on the last vid. I don't do a good enough job of mentioning this because I feel like I'm shilling, but the reality is that you guys also are getting a discount, so it's like, okay, sure. If you're going to buy this stuff anyway, you might as well buy it here. You get like 10% off on most of the stuff on this page. I think there are some variations to that because my page is the oldest Gigaparts page, and we started out 10%, and I think that's varied over time. Just FYI, I want to try my page first. Or my code.
Now, can I ask you a question about your page, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
So you have 3 separate of those push-up masts, the fiberglass ones.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like those at all? I mean,
So first and foremost, some of the guys over at Gigaparts just throw stuff onto our pages, and they don't really say anything to us. The one that I like is the one that I had actually on that car antenna video. If you go back and look at my car antenna video, I think it might be this one. Yes, it's this one. This is what I used. This guy. It's great. So with variations of this, let's see. It is, what's the difference? Is it just the amount of segments? Because this is 34 foot. That's 34 foot. Which one are you talking about, Don?
No, the one you just showed was carbon fiber, or the one I saw in Discord, on the YouTube. Well, you had some, like I think on your front page, they're fiberglass. Those are a little less expensive, but I like that style
fiberglass
of pole.
Yes,
where you're pushing it up and clicking it over. And we were talking about this, by the way. We did go out POTA today at the park. The club did, and we were talking about these and. Both me and the other guy were talking about these kinds of masts where they click over, you have so much less problems with them collapsing.
I agree. Versus just the friction pull ones.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, the ones where you jerk it and try to get it. Yeah.
It really is it's really a comparison of what you're doing or just an acknowledgement of that. So, like, if I'm running POTA out of the back of a car or something like that, I'm going to go with one of these more substantial masts, right? With the clickovers, it's going to lock in. You can use a rollover base plate, that you can put an antenna into. You can even just lash it to something on the vehicle. These fiberglass ones are really light, so are the carbon fiber. If I'm, like, hiking, then I'm almost always going to go with a telescopic mast that can go in the bag. It must go in the bag. I've used, do you remember jackkite poles when those were like a thing people were buying? Remember jackkite poles?
I've heard of them, but I never used one.
So I've got one. I've got a 25 footer. It's a fiberglass one. What they were designed for is kites, like those kites that you put outside of a business that doesn't have any line. It just has like a kite on the end and it spins and flips around and all that stuff. So the jackkite pole is really stout. It's really sturdy. The problem is that it's almost like 4 feet tall. And if you're hiking around with that kind of crap on you, you snag everything. And I hate snagging stuff on my backpack. So I almost always run the Soda Beams tactical carbon whatever, and then the new one, the 6, the one that packs down, the 6 meter one that packs down that fits into anything.
6,
the carbon.
the Soda Beam.
Yeah, that guy I really like. It's a little light. Yeah. It's a little whippy. It's a little short because you really can't use the last elements, but it's really good.
Yeah, so your page that I'm seeing right now, see right next to the tripod, right? That little device next to the tripod. You know what that is, right?
The device next to, well, now, are you on the second page or the first page?
The page you were just showing on YouTube. So sorry.
Oh,
it was
with the fiberglass mast?
Yeah, with the mast on it. There's accessories below that. And the one next to the tripod.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what that is, right?
It's a mount.
No. Next to it? Yeah, it's actually a topper is what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, so it goes at the very top and you click over and it locks down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to let people know, if you will, Ham Radio Dude and I both have been designing different ones for the top of those masts because that is the only thing that Gigaparts offers. And I have actually had on the top of my mast
Mm-hmm.
2 hamstick dipoles
Oh.
suspended up at the top
Cool.
using one of those kind of things. Yeah, there's so much you could do with that
Mm-hmm.
that they just don't. That I don't know where that thing came from, but it's all I've ever seen, even at DX Engineering and others. And that is not. It's even not long enough. Actually.
You know what? You know what I think the deal is with these, and let me see if I can get. No, of course I can't. The one thing, Gigaparts, they got to get some bigger pictures on some of this stuff. What I've found is that most people who are putting up a mast, they're using it to get a wire in the air.
Right.
If you like you just mentioned, Don, wanted to make a dipole. Hamstick dipole. That's a different animal. You almost need a different mounting, like that MFJ mounting solution thing, right? That's super cool, and this mast will handle it because it's pretty stout. But those telescopics won't do that. They won't handle this. That's way too much.
Telescopics, meaning
the
ones that this goes on top of?
No, the height, like the soda beams mass.
Oh, hell
you
no.
can't
no,
put
yeah.
a hamstick dipole on top of that.
Right,
No way.
but you can on top of these. I
Mhm.
have a fiberglass up right now that I have a in-fed half wave on.
Mhm.
It's up at 35 foot on the top of one of those 35-foot poles.
Good.
See, I use these masts everywhere and all down my property because they are so absolutely convenient. The only place I don't is I've got 2 of the chain link fence things where my Moxons are. But I have had the Moxon on here and it works fine. It's just that I'm using now more of the toppers that Ham Radio Dude and I have designed for different things, and including my in-fed half wave. The reason is on a carbon fiber mast, you want to get away from the carbon fiber mast as much as you can, and that thing is honestly too short. So he has ones that are probably 3 or 4 inches out. And,
yeah, Josh, I just put
right.
a picture of that mast in the live stream chat and Discord.
Hey, look at that. How are you guying that? What are you doing to?
I'm not. It doesn't need it. It's the guys are the cables coming off of it for the doublet.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Here you go, guys. I'll share this with you. You can see that. So that's running.
It works. It works so good.
A
It works
field
so good.
doublet. That's pretty cool, man. What are you running? What do you connect the feed line to?
I'll show you. I'll show you a picture. Hold on.
Where's Mike?
You mean K8MRD Mike or?
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking Rob. UK Rob.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Rob's the one that got me to do it.
Yeah. No. I mean the other end, the radio end. What connects to the balance feed line on the radio end?
Oh, I have a 1-to-1 Ballon LDG, 1-to-1 Ballon, and then I have like a 1 foot that goes into a 939 tuner.
Yeah, I use a 4-to-1. I used a 4-to-1 on my doublet.
Yeah, interesting. Did you try a 4-to-1? Did not?
No, Rob mentioned just using a 1-to-1, and it seems to work perfectly.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard both, and it depends on how much feed line there is, actually.
If you're tuning it anyway, it's not going to matter too much. Your tuner's going to be your 4-to-1.
I think it depends on how far out of whack it is.
Right.
On that
and
given band.
Alec, when I was doing mine, I was using a 3-to-1 tuner in the radio. And with the 4-to-1, that worked for me.
But a 1-to-1 would not, probably.
When Rob and I built the doublet in Dayton, we did a 4-to-1 into a tuner, actually.
Into an external, like 10-to-1 tuner, or is it an internal 3-to-1 tuner?
External.
Okay, so that'll cover everything then. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But we also had the 4-to-1 as well as the tuner.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there are tuners that have the built-in balance, and if you look at those for the balance line tuner or the balance line tuners with the balance, those are generally 4-to-1.
I do know that my MFJ tuner, another fine tuner, that Versa tuner that I have, I made a video like 3 years ago on it. That has a balance feed line option, and you can just go straight into that sucker right there. That works really well. That's a good tuner.
Look at the Balun that's in it. I'll bet it's a 4-to-1.
I think it is. Yeah.
I activated a POTA the other day on that field doublet.
Oh, I bet. What was your farthest contact?
Oh, I think Florida.
From where? Where are you located? Seven Land?
From Seattle, Washington.
Damn good. That's real good. Nice. Good for you.
I want Rob to show me his half rhombic.
Half? I do too.
All
right.
He's been running it. I've heard him on it.
Well, yeah. I want Rob, show up and answer that. Tell us about that. So I think we got a couple of questions, but I think I answered all of them. Do we have any other questions in the Discord chat? The voice
I've got a
chat.
question.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
Yeah, it's Glenn here. I posted it a bit further up, but you probably missed it. That's all right. It's a GPS question. I've got a router which is a Nighthawk M6, and I didn't actually know that it had a GPS in it. And you just go into the settings and you can click a box and it opens up the GPS. But and it tells you it opens it up on port 5502 and just sends that NMEA data. So what I wanted to do was try and exploit that and clock my Mac so I can use FT8. Is there any programs that you know of which will take that port data, and is it something simple or is it something complex I've got to do?
You said Mac?
Yeah, for a Mac, if I'm out in the field and don't have internet, this thought it'd be a great way for this to.
I 100% understand what you're looking for. The problem is my solution for this, I only know on Windows. So I do the exact same thing on Windows. I have a little GPS dongle for time sync on my Jankopotamus, but I don't know what to use on Mac. I've never done this on Mac. Does anybody have any idea how to do it?
There are lots of GPR or GPS Android and iOS apps that'll make it like an option to be able to import into the different programs.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that this is being offered in the modem, and it's just there on the port. And I thought, is this a complicated thing or is this an easy fix? And I use another thing, the BKT time sync for my PC, but I thought either for the Pi or for the Mac, when out in the field, I thought, wow, why not use this that's just floating there in the modem?
Well, the Pi will do it. The Pi will do it. There is a way to set that up. In fact, Jason, KM4ACK Jason on YouTube, he has a video on that, on setting it up on the Pi. I've
actually got his program on the Pi, yeah.
Looks like somebody's dropping a link, how to enable SNMP on Linux machines and Mac OS.
It would be NTPD, not SNMP. You need, it can get very, very complicated.
Yeah. So wait, so let me make sure I understand this. The router is just pushing GPS data. It's not pushing NTP data.
Yeah, it's just the NMEA data, and it said something like, you can activate this, click this checkbox, and then you'll suddenly be able to use programs that use the port 5502 NMEA data. And I'm thinking, okay, what programs are out there that does this?
Do you get to direct that to an IP address? Do you give it the IP address you want to send that NMEA data to?
As far as I know, all it does is pushing it out on that port.
Yeah, I'm confused of how that works, but yes, there are many programs that can use NMEA data. But usually, what that Nighthawk does with the GPS data is set its NTP servers.
Right.
So you could set your time server as your Nighthawk and get accurate GPS data.
That's an option. Because are you connecting to the network of the device when you're out in the field?
Yeah, that's right. So
you could
it does
draw
actually
your time
show
off the network.
That's right. So but I think it also works standalone if you're not in a cell area.
But that's what I'm saying is you connect your computer to the network of the router, and the router is drawing time off of GPS, and it will provide time to your computer via the network.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm saying is this: it was just an accident that I didn't even know that there was a feature, and I just saw, wow, okay, it's actually got a separate GPS from the actual NTP.
Do you drag that Nighthawk out in the field?
Yeah, I do for work. It's only it's like the size of a mobile phone.
If I can make it a suggestion, they have USB GPS dongles that do the exact same thing that are very cheap on Amazon.
Like
if
$11.
Yeah, if you get one of those and get a program that takes that GPS data in, that would be much less of a footprint if you're not using the Nighthawk for anything else.
Or do it with your phone over Bluetooth.
Or just point your NTP servers to the internet somewhere.
Yeah, and I've got a USB GPS, but I thought, wow, why not take advantage if it's available and it's just sitting there and it's pumping out the GPS data? I thought, is there something simple that does that?
I'm with Josh. I don't know the applications. I use BKT TimeSync personally on Windows.
Yeah, that's what I use too.
Yeah, same here. I do use it on Windows too. Yeah,
you can use GPS-D that runs on Mac. It's the exact same program that Jason uses in Build a Pi.
Okay,
great.
It was written in Linux years ago. Yeah.
I looked that up.
The guy that wrote it is a jerk, but the software is great.
There's the GPS dongle. I just dropped the link in the chat. It's $13. There's like two kinds.
Remember, he is in Australia, so.
It has GLONASS too. They've got a GLONASS one. Oh yeah, sorry.
It's going to be upside down. All the bits are going to fall out.
What's the GPS app called again?
GPS-D.
Yeah, GPS-D. It's a open source project for distributing GPS data. It was written in Linux years ago, and I've used it for years actually.
All right.
And of course, NMEA data is not a new thing. I mean, it's you know, marine devices.
Oh, of course.
A data output for connecting up many devices, but I thought it was just interesting that it was a separate GPS inside the modem. I thought, can I take advantage of that?
Yeah, let me be really clear. I know how to do this for the Pi. I know how to do this for Windows. I've just never done this on the Mac, so I just can't answer. So GPS-D might work fine.
On Linux or not?
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, it's the same program on Raspberry Pi.
Sure. So
GPS-D is.
There you go. Then I guess I've never physically done it on the Mac. You know what I mean? I understand how it would be done. I just haven't done it. So there you go.
Can you get a free C compiler on the Mac?
I don't know.
Yeah, GCC.
Okay.
Also things I haven't done.
Oh, that to me would be the only godsend to Mac, would be the fact that you could compile your own code.
All right. Well, hopefully that was a good answer for your question there. At least
yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, I find the Mac usually really good in terms of timing. It's if I'm using FT8, I hardly ever drifts. But the Pi, and I do have a USB dongle, and it does work sometimes. It's not a very good one. I might need to look at that. But the Pi does drift a lot, and I find I'm way out.
Pi is real drifty. The internal time sync sucks on that.
Yeah, it does not have a TXTO in it.
And as far as the GPS dongle, not always, you mentioned just a second ago about GPS dongle not always working. Is it just not locking on stuff all the way?
Yeah, it just seems to. So I'm using JSON that came for ACK's program. All works fine, and usually when I start it up, it's fine. But then it just turns itself off, and if I pull the USB out and restart it again, it works again. But I've got to pull it out and start it again. So there's something not right there. So it's still working. It's not the GPS is not failing, but there's some connection there just on the Pi. But it's not a huge issue. So just thought, wow, is this an easy solution?
All right.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you. Excellent. All right, who's next? Anybody on the Discord voice? By the way, YouTube chat or Discord chat, go ahead and drop your questions if you have them.
Rob is online now.
Yeah, everybody wanted to call Rob. He's working. Leave the man alone. Rob, everybody's just excited.
I can talk for a bit.
Okay, God, everybody's like, go get Rob. I'm like, if he's here, yeah, but don't. Rob, there's basically a cool doublet that somebody ran portable for POTA, which you are the reason he built it, and so he wanted to share it with you. I think you probably already saw it, but good stuff.
I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were talking about the half rhombic.
Yeah, but I didn't mean go grab Rob and make him answer for his half rhombic right now. God, you guys.
Now.
The most important thing, ham radio's happening. Why don't you?
I think Don was after the dimensions off me. The one I used to speak to Evan and the gang at Dayton. It's about, if you get 2 7-meter poles. Mine was 240 feet of antenna wire with a long enough counterpoise to reach back to the antenna tuner, and you terminate it with a 470 to anything up to a 1K ohm big thick film resistor. What I would suggest is you want at least 3 wavelengths of wire on the band you want to operate on. So I cut mine for about 4 or 5 wavelengths on 15 meters, and then you can either feed it with ladder line back into a tuner. You can stick a unun or a balun at the feed point. You just pick the ratio. So if you get a 470 ohm resistor, you can use a 9-to-1 unun. If you go up to 680, I think that's a 12-to-1 unun. I think Palomar will sell you the various different ratios. You can wind your own. And if you get that long enough, it's about the same kind of gain as about a 2 or 3 element Yagi. But it's literally a bunch of wire and 2 poles.
So
there you go.
Do you have pictures of this or like a diagram I can see? Because I can't visualize this in my head. With 2 poles and that much amount of wire, I don't know where it's all going.
Basically, get a random wire. You go, imagine a, God, what's the shape? Like a rhombus, half a rhombus. You have a slope up, you flat top it between the poles, and you slope it down. And at the far end of the antenna wire, you have the resistor, and then you run the counterpoise from the resistor. Just run it across the ground back to your balun, tuner, ladder line, whatever. So it's imagine a beverage, but like raised really high off the ground. It's really similar. It's basically imagine a beverage, but it's a beverage that's optimized for transmission rather than receiving.
You said those sloper? Or?
It's like a trapezoid.
Right, yeah, I know what a rhombic looks like, but it's like a half rhombic would be almost a V, but with a wire running between the 2 poles like he's talking about. So it's mainly the lifter is going right at the feed point where the ladder line connects, right?
Yeah, I got it.
No, the resistor is at the far end, and then you're feeding the other end. So with all these terminated antennas, it's the same with the beverage. It's the resistor is at the far end. It's in the direction you want to listen to. So in my case, I was sat at the southeast. My rhombic was pointing northeast at North America, and the northeast end is where the resistor goes at the far end.
Well, that was the one time I remember I heard you. It was you told me you had that rhombic up, and it was impressive as hell.
Well, very good. Do you have plans for that or any kind of write-up or anything like that?
I don't, but I'm at work, but I am near a computer, so
you
give me 10 minutes.
You selfish person taking all this time away from ham radio to work. No, take your time whenever you get to it. It doesn't have to be today. Just I would like to know more about it. I'm kind of curious, but take your time. Rob, thank you for coming to our beck and call. Nobody do that in the future. Don't call on people that are working.
No problem. I'll MS paint something up for you.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Just take your time with it whenever you get to it. Jeez, guys.
See you later, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would love to see that because I've got a couple of beverages. It sounds like you just have to pop it up right a little bit
That's
higher.
That's what it sounds like.
In
but
the
then
middle,
he's also
right?
he's got a return
resistor.
line. But he's got a return counterpoise that goes all the way back.
That is true. Richard was on Coffee and Ham Radios and featured on Coffee and Ham Radios. And if you haven't seen it, go watch and look at his station and all of that. That was a really good time and a good video.
Right on. Cool. All right. Well, thanks to Rob for explaining that. Okay. Let's see. I think Whoa.
Hey, Josh, I've got a question if you can hear me.
I can't. What was that hit? like explosion noise that happened in the background. Go ahead. I don't know if that was you or somebody else.
Sorry, yeah, I just guess took focus off the browser.
Aggressively PTT.
Yeah, overly. Hey, thanks for taking my call. So, question I have for you tonight is it's about antennas.
Okay.
So I guess it's timely. I have a super antenna. It's the only antenna I have ever owned, and I have an IC705, and I'm getting out great with it. I was just looking to try something different, specifically an end fed. And I have a little QRP guys one. I'm just wondering if I upgraded to a better antenna, that if I could use it with FT8, because I'm under the understanding that this is going to get overwhelmed.
What did the QRP guys page tell you?
Well, it says 5 watts.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm doing FT8, I have a little 50-watt amp, and I'll dial that up a little bit just so I can get out.
Okay. See, you're keeping the vital information from me. You said you got a 705. I'm like, yeah, go nuts. Okay.
Sorry about that.
So now you're saying I'm gonna throw 50 watts at it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
We're on the same page.
So if that's the case, go ahead and get yourself a Coffee and Ham Radio NFED. Great kit. Or K6ARK if his kits are in stock on Amazon. Either one, really, really good. K6ARKs, you will need to get the 100-watt version, and I believe all of Coffee and Ham Radio's NFEDs are all 100 watts plus.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I mean, yeah, there you go.
Cool. Thanks for the recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking off the top, I mean, Pactena will also do it. That's a bit different, but just a good antenna as well. Really good portable antenna. That'll handle 50 watts, no problem.
Those. I think that they're sold out at the moment, but I'll keep an eye on the website. Maybe they'll come back around.
That's very
always
sold out. By the way, if you all want to get a Pactena, if you're all going to get a Pactena and you're planning on doing FT8 or digital modes, please buy their choke. Please buy George's choke that he has, the dual-ended female-to-female choke. That thing is great. You can use that on all kinds of different applications. He may even have that in stock. You should just buy the choke now, even if he doesn't have the Pactenas in stock. You can use that with just about everything. I love putting it in my bags when I go portable, and you just, boom, put the choke in line. Problems are usually solved. It's great. Great. All right. Very good. Who else?
So this is my third suck of the salve, so if anybody else wants to jump in, please do. But I'm a software engineer, and I'm looking for like an open source ham radio project to contribute back to the community. Any suggestions?
Would that be M17?
Are you embedded?
I know some of it.
Because M17 might be something that you might want to look at.
Yep. M17 would be an option.
Or that Minecraft radio? No, sorry.
Yeah, where's that guy? He was on with Mike's Hams Helping Hams. I think that was him. Wasn't it? Video that he made?
I don't know because I have not had a chance to watch that yet. But I'm still on their Discord server, and they've been asking for people to test stuff, and it sounds like they're moving forward quite a bit.
That would be one. Yep. It looks like there's something called free data. I don't know what that is, but why don't we pull it up and see? It's a GitHub. A free open source multi-platform application for sending files and messages using the codec 2 HF modems. I don't even know what a codec 2 HF modem is. What's a codec 2? Is it hardware? Plan TNC features, network based. Okay. Oh, look at that. Free data. And there's a chat room. Ooh. Maybe I shouldn't be showing anybody this right now because I need to be downloading and running this.
One thing I would suggest too is look at the AIOC cables. because
the
software that's available there, there's a number of things there. Even or what is it? God, what is the software that you use for APRS? Direwolf, sorry. Direwolf has a CM108 PTT line that they've implemented in there, and that needs to really be implemented in more software. Because like even some of the because one of the things we're missing is packet radio, and so all of the KISS type packet radio stuff, none of that has the AIOC type PTT that can use the CM108. So there's a few things. So these are things that I've been wanting to. The other thing is, by the way, look at Node-RED, which is Java code or Java scripting. Java
Oh yeah, I've played with a lot of Node-RED. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, look at Kyle's channel and all the stuff that they're doing with Node-RED. These are all things I want to do. Work slams me, and when I get home, I do not want to do coding.
Oh, whatever. I close work and start on my own projects. I love it.
Yeah, I used to years ago. I'm getting on 65, and I've just been doing it too long. And when I retire, I'm like, okay, I'm going to miss it, and I know I'm going to miss it. And that's probably when I'll start contributing to the AM radio stuff. But right now, I'm so burned out.
Yeah, I hope you get better on that.
I hear that, but oh boy, am I going to be leaning into the coding when I retire.
Oh, and man, they're trying to. They're working on Kubernetes where I'm at, and
Kubernetes is so much fun, though.
That'll do it to you.
Yeah,
you should look at GNSS and PTP and IEEE 1588 and look at the rabbit hole that crap is.
Oh, it's so great. I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's so much fun.
You've done GNSS?
A smidgen of it, and only not professionally yet, but I think it's coming.
Yeah, we absolutely have to have it.
All right. Is that do we get you some options there?
Yeah.
I ran into a couple in there though, Josh, real quick.
Okay.
Take a look at Libra Space Foundation and SatNogs. Those are a couple that are near and dear to my heart.
I've had a lot of fun with SatNogs. I got that's what brought me here. I got way too zoomed into researching alternatives for high gain steerable antennae. I mean, they're mounting these, meter long Yagi antennas and doing all of the mechanical engineering analysis to, moment arm and computation and all that kind of thing, trying to make it safe to swing these things around fast enough to track a satellite as it comes over. And it occurred to me that it might be easier to use patch antennae. Next minute, it's 2 weeks later, and I've been binging on microstrip formulas for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Richard, if you ever want another rabbit hole to go down because you got the land, look in EME. We had a presentation at our club meeting this month on EME. I never even knew all of that stuff was going on. It's that is just, it's like satellite on steroids.
Yep.
Yeah.
EME, can you post a link to that?
Yeah,
Earth,
I can
Earth, Moon, Earth.
Post a link. Yeah, to the presentation.
Digital Rancher, was that it, or did you have other ones?
No, that was it. Dawn, I think you were talking to me. I know you called me Richard a couple times. But yeah, no, that's okay. I've got a buddy in my club that does some EME stuff, and he's been bending my arm pretty hard. I can see that in my future.
That's not cheap stuff either, though.
Yeah, anyway, I'll link you the presentation because this guy's got all the stuff, but he's been doing it since 1971.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, drop the link and then we'll see it that way.
Yeah.
I just posted another open source option for you that'll also scratch the preparedness itch. And if any solar punk or permacomputing fans are on, it's the RF Bitbanger, which is an off-the-grid QRP radio designed to be not just used off the grid, but also assembled and repaired off the grid. So it uses a whole lot of stuff that it's easy to find in junk piles.
It is. It is a little junkyard radio. It's kind of cool.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Micro. I'm sorry. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. Yeah. So drop the links for that, and we'll be able to help him out a little bit. So very good. Thank you for the question. I think we're gonna move on to other open questions if we have them. Anybody else in the Discord with open questions?
Hey Josh, I push the button if you can hear me. I had a question about DMR with DroidStar.
Is this KF0MCM?
Yes, sir, Josh.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so it's asking for a version ID. I've gotten as far as it's asking for a version ID, which there's a field for it in the settings for DroidStar, but I don't know what to change it to.
Does anybody know in the chat what he should use? Is anybody using DroidStar in the chat? I don't know. I've never used DroidStar.
Oh, I have used it, but it was, it's.
Are you just supposed to plug in your DMR ID in there?
You do, but it's weird that it in some cases you don't need it, but yet it tries to get you to do it anyway. To me,
the setting is called package ID and software ID.
I mean, did you try looking up what you're supposed to do online, or have you tried reaching out to somebody that works on the product?
No, sir. I did look. I did search, but the results are so difficult to scour through. I wonder if there was just sort of an easy answer about that.
Oh, I don't know. I never have used DroidStar. I mean, you
has
can
done a video.
You can go into the Android App Store, bring up the app, and there's a link that you can message the creator and say, "Hey, what am I supposed to do here?"
There is someone in the live stream after chat that's looking for their Android tablet to possibly answer this question.
Yeah, so hang out. Somebody might be able to help you out, but I think you hit us with one. I don't think we use that app often. I've never used it.
So yeah, after 6 months being licensed, Josh, I've gotten chewed out by more than one repeater over quick keying complaints. I've gotten nasty grams. I've gotten threatening emails from SysOps in the repeater management organizations. But it's split right down the middle. 50% of the people have been warm and welcoming and wonderful, and then the other 50% have been, I would say, borderline nasty on radio. Really just gaslighting after quick keying and monopolizing the repeaters. It's obscene.
Well, were you quick keying accidentally in the beginning?
No, it's objection to quick keying. So people would monopolize the repeater for 45 minutes, and I would say, hey, guys, you guys didn't let the repeater drop for more than 5 seconds once. DMR radios can't even operate in polite mode, or they're supposed to operate in polite mode. Can't even key up unless the repeater actually drops.
And so you got letters because you raised an objection to people quick keying?
That is affirmative, Josh.
What did the letters say?
Basically, wanted to hear your side of the issue, and we object to the way you handled it, and here's a recording of the conversation, and you were really out of line, or there wasn't appropriate operation, or something like that.
Well,
there are just some real sad hams out there.
Is this like with the repeater owner on his own repeater?
And so that's what I've come to find out. What I've come to find out. I'm not the first person to report this kind of issue, and it came up in a net about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, and I got to talk to some really good people. I think on the SE link by Echo Link. DMR, and they confirm that that's been happening, and it's just the old sad hams that really are resistant to DMR hate it. I mean, Jack on Skyhub Link told me on the phone he hates DMR. He thinks it's just too complicated and it's not worth it, and the other modes are just
But what I don't understand. So your objection to the quick keying was on a DMR repeater, but those same people hate DMR, but they're using the DMR repeater.
Here's the problem: we have multi-protocol systems now. SkyHub Link out of Denver goes All-Star, it goes Echolink, it goes Analog, it's bridged on YSF, it goes DMR talk groups. And so when like Gary on the Severe Weather Network down there in Pueblo, Colorado, was doing the Severe Weather Net at 1:00 every day Mountain Time, sometimes his volume levels are not normalized between the protocols, and he'll key up and ask for check-ins in a certain talk group, and you'll call out to him and he won't hear you, and he'll be in a conversation and they double on each other all the time because they're both doing it. They're both using multi-protocols and they forget to change the volume when they switch protocols because the volume levels are not normalized.
Yeah, that sounds like a technical mishmash problem. Yeah, I don't know. Can you use a different repeater or a different repeater system? That would be my thing. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with any of this. I'm out of here.
Oh, it's been kind of a steep learning curve in the hobby, but it's been worth it. I've made some good contacts. As a matter of fact, I got called out about 3 months by the colonel at the Space Force base here in Denver, Delta 2 Denver Buckley, runs a repeater on Mount Chief. It's part of SkyHub Link. It's KB5YZB, and Commander Williams was really cool. He called my call sign out and he said, he just wanted to let you know you're jumping leaps and bounds real quick in DMR. Your call sign is out there, and he was really welcoming. And I have his cell phone number now. So thanks for all your help, Josh.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I don't see anybody who said anything about Droid. Ted, I think, went to go grab a tablet, so maybe he'll come back, but I don't know. Well, thanks for joining us out there, and I got a question on YouTube I'm going to take really fast. Actually, 2. What is my opinion on the ATU 100 antenna tuners? Whose is that? Is that, that's not a Prol, right? Oh, those guys. The Chinese ones? Let me see. I don't know. I haven't used them. So I have a tuner, by the way, that I've got to review that was sent to me from Chesalence, the Chesalence company. I'm planning on checking it out soon. The issue is I almost always use resonant antennas. So I'm seldom not doing that. So I'm actually thinking, wouldn't it be kind of cool to build this half rhombic and then use like a QRP radio on it with one of these antenna tuners? So I may do that in the future. I haven't decided. I haven't used it. So the Mala hit has so this is it's a kit. I love kits. Mala hit ATU 100 antenna tuner kit, $36. There's no case for this though, so it's just going to be like bare PCB when you're done. Sure, I guess. I don't know. Like, you tell me an instance why you need a tuner, and I'll listen to you, and I'll say, but can't you do it with a resonant antenna? There are some situations where you need a tuner, and they're good to have as a backup. But oftentimes, I'm just going to tell you, build a resonant antenna.
Because I'm in an HOA and I use my gutters for an antenna, so I need a tuner.
Sure. Okay, there you go. You found one. I guess, yeah, but I mean, like, okay, all right, good.
Hey, Don.
Super compromised.
Is Al Ward in your club?
No, but he lives in our area, so I think he's in the Dallas club.
Gotcha. I mean, he's like a microwave superstar, right? I mean, this guy's like designed commercial LNAs. This guy's like legit. He's like the real deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, his talk is just fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you ever have him at your club again, please let me know. I'll drive over. I would love to sit in on one of his talks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's in the North Texas Microwave Society, and they meet out in West Texas every once in a while and have a barbecue. And he said pretty much anybody can go out there if you ever get a chance to do that.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Sorry, I was starstruck there for a minute, Josh. I mean, this guy is like the guy in microwave.
Oh, awesome. Okay, another question over on the YouTube. I think so. Yeah, YouTube side. Never done less than 10 meters, so less frequency is what they're saying. I have lots of nephews in STEM. What would be the best way to get into 10-meter POTA? I watched your video and saw your radio. What tower and what antenna? Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I took out in the field, and then I'm going to tell you what I think you should do. Okay, so that's fair? Good. All right, so I was running the Chameleon tactical. Wait, no. Hold on, let's pull it up. The MassWorks. No, that's what do they call it? Hold on. PortaMast. Of course it's the PortaMast. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the name. This is not cheap though. The 15-foot one is $278, and the one I have is $438. It's the 25-footer. And then I use the drive over bracket, right? The drive over bracket I think is another $100. I'm not completely sure. Hold on. They have a hitch mount, side mount, mast topper. No, wheel mount. That's the one. So I'm sorry, $150. Okay, that's what I use. It's super simple, and I've used 2 antennas on this so far, and I'll show them both to you. The first one I used, which on 10 meters, I think I got 100 contacts in about an hour, a little over 100 contacts in about an hour. It absolutely killed it. It was the Delta Loop, the tactical Delta Loop that Chameleon has, which I think is under their loop antennas. Or not? Shouldn't it be? Is it under wire antennas?
Should be under the loop.
That's not there, though. Okay, let me go back to loop.
The other one was the LEFS 4010, right?
Yes. So let me search Delta. Let's see if we can find it that way. Okay. The Cha Delta Loop, with or without coax, your choice. Anyway, so I ran this, which a lot of people run it on the ground, which when you run it on the ground, it functions, and I've done a POTA when you run it on the ground. It kind of does a lot of NVIS, a lot of cloud warming, a lot of cloud burning. But when you put it at the top of that 25-foot mast, then it was kicking butt. It was absolutely singing when you got it up that high. Wonderful at that height. But my last go-around was simply with the new left antenna, which is the 4010, and that's this guy. So this one's actually pretty cool because it'll be a dipole or an end-fed, depending on how you build it. So it comes with an end-fed run of wire. That's this blue wire that it comes with. So you do end-fed out of the box, but you could just make 2 legs, any legs, and you can make it as a dipole, and then it's got a separate feed point for that. So what do I suggest you do as a budding POTA person? You could pretty much use a painter's pole, right? A painter's pole. Build yourself a little guy ring out of zip ties and tape it so that it doesn't slide up and down. And make yourself a dipole. 10-meter dipoles, dead simple. Real easy to build. You can go get yourself a dipole balanced, unbalanced, right? Feed point. And you can just cut some wire and attach it to it, and you can be off to the races. How I would recommend you do that is you find at least you got to have a radio that at least has an S meter on it, right? At least has an S meter. And then you're going to cut the dipole a little long using dipole calculators that you can get online or using your ARRL handbook, or if you remember the math, do it that way. That's what I would recommend you do, is build yourself a dipole, get a painter's pole from Home Depot, make an inverted V, easy peasy. You probably already have a painter's pole, a long one. And remember, you don't have to be that high off the ground for 10 meters. You only need 20 feet, maybe. Perfect. So that's my recommendations. Makes sense? Oh, you can top rail it. You can top rail it too. Let's see. Everybody always says that the drive on mount is 150 B goes, that looks outrageously expensive. I paid $40 for mine. Yeah, of course, there's cheaper options than Chameleon. Nobody's telling you have to go buy Chameleon. Oh, look, they sell coffee now? Oh, it's the mug. That mug kicks ass. I do like that mug. Let me go back. So the driver mass is extremely stout. Is it worth 150? I don't know. That's your call, but I like it a lot. It's beefy as all hell. Anyway, all right, there you go. All right. Anybody else in the Discord while I look at the YouTube chat?
Yeah, hey Josh, I got a question about QRP.
Sorry, there was somebody, not the KD9. You're next. The other guy, the other guy came first. I heard him first. Go ahead.
Was this me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's you. Go for it.
Hey, thanks, Josh. First time on Discord using audio. So I sent you a map of my property and was asking a question about antennas, and I'm thinking about doing a full wave 80-meter loop on my property.
Where did you send the image?
It was on the Discord chat, and that was before I finally got this voice working.
Can you repost it or link me to it so I can just pull it right up?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Now I have to remember to get back on the. Again, I'm a newbie on Discord, so I have to remember to get back on chat here on my computer. So just a second. Sorry.
This mass rollover mass is not nearly as robust as the Chameleon, but I hear you. It's cheaper, $40. Yeah, I see it. Also, that image is not the mass.
You should see the heavy duty one I bought from Jason.
It's funny you say that, Don. I've got the exact same one, and it is a tank.
You're right. You don't even need to drive over it. It'll hold up a mast without you even driving over it.
So here's the Chameleon one. I'm literally, look how thick it is, the plate. This is a beefy mast stand. And look how thick the receiver port is. Yeah, this is really no joke. It's very robust. All right. Lee Harrell, the Chaw Left's 4010 does not come with a dipole. It comes with an end-fed wire that's pre-cut. It has the strain relief and a carabiner, and then it has an insulator end on the other side. You can build your own dipole. It does not have dipole wires. Oh, did 20 die? 20 meters look like it's dried up a little bit. All right, while we wait for Who Meek to repost and come back, why don't we go to KD9WNY? Go ahead.
I had a question about QRP radios, and
love it.
That's yeah. So I went to the Superfest over at HRO today.
Oh, in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking at, like, I want something a little bit more portable than me lugging around my 891 along with my 20 amp hour Bioenno and stuff like that. I want something a little bit more lightweight that I can throw in, like, my hiking backpack and actually go hike some trails, have fun, then set up and do stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And I was just wondering what you guys would suggest. And I already know you're going to ask price range. I'd like to keep it under $1,500.
Oh, KX2. Elecraft KX2.
So you do a KX2?
Oh, God.
Okay.
I love the KX2. It's so portable. It's so nice. So if you don't want to lug around the 891, the 705 isn't that much smaller, although I think it's much more user-friendly, but whatever. You basically have, I think, a couple of options. A used 817/818, still fine. That's definitely on the cheap side. A Shegu 6100, internal battery, kind of like a 705, right? Also portable. KX2, though, is like Such a good radio. The question, and actually I should have probably asked this question before I jumped to this answer. What are you primarily going to do operating portable? What modes?
Mostly I do SSB. I'm slowly but surely learning CW right now. I found a real nice app on Android that it plays you the tones, so you're learning it by listening to the dits and das.
Yeah.
Instead of like looking at the actual that's dot dot. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's I'm trying to learn CW right now, but as of right now, I'm more of a SSB kind of operator.
So if you were to tell me your primary mode of operation was digital and then like sideband and CW, I would say you probably want to go with like the 6100. But if your primary modes of operation is like CW and you're trying to get, single sideband and you're trying to get into CW and then digital's not that big on your list, the KX2 is fantastic. You're perfect. You'd be spot on. With that said, one caveat. I want you to go buy the internal charging module. You need to have the internal charging module. Just trust me when I say that. Once you do that, you unlock the full potential of the radio.
All right, and then I do have one other question really quick. The other one that I did look at was the TX500.
Yep. Well, you said you didn't want to lug a secondary battery around.
No, I didn't want to lug around a 20 amp hour secondary battery.
Yeah. So the only problem with the Lab 599, which I also have, it's like one of the QRP radios that I seldom use, it just feels like I'm carrying a lot of crap around all the time. There's a lot of wires. It's kind of a little spaghetti monster on the table. But it's good, too. It's really good. It's actually got a really good low battery consumption. Very low power draw on the Lab 599, which is great. Good radio. Oh, I'll tell you what I don't like about it. I take that back. The reliance on using the hand mic for everything. I don't like that. You have to do single sideband via the speaker on the hand mic. There's no speaker on the radio.
Unless you use a headset with it.
That you also plug in through the hand mic.
Correct.
Which is...
Well, no. They actually have a cable that breaks those out, and you can plug that directly into a special cable.
You can do anything, but out of the box, you would be plugging your headphones into the handset.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It does have a CW decoder on it as well. So if you're learning CW, that's an extra benefit.
Have you, actually, I should do a video on this. Have you compared the two, the KX2 and the Lab 599, as to which one has the better CW decode?
I don't have the KX2, so I just have the 599.
I should do that. I should get all the radios on the same antenna, listening to the same frequency, and see which one can decode better.
And compare it to the KX3.
I don't have a KX3. At some point, I run out of radios.
I tell you, between the Elecraft radios are just amazing. I mean, this KXPA 100 amplifier, top notch.
How much is that thing, Don?
Well, see, the thing was when I bought it as a kit with the KX3, and it was like the radios were selling for $1,900 used,
right?
And this was only $500 more, and I got this and the PX3. So I mean, really, right now that amplifier, if you buy it from them, it's $1,600. I did not know that, and mine has the built-in tuner. So that's another like couple $100 on top of that $1,600.
Oh, you know what? I'm so upside down in my brain. I thought that the KPA or the KXPA 100 was they had a 500 in this size, a portable unit. Because I'd be all over that. This is a full size amp.
Yeah, Jason carries his.
The 500?
Yeah, the 500. Yeah, he had it at Field Day.
It's kind of big though, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, but it apparently runs on 12 volts though.
He just took it out on a photo activation when he was down at Galveston.
It runs on 12
No, he stretched it off a generator on his truck, just like Josh did off his truck's output.
Oh, okay, because he was saying that he was built. Oh, that's right. He put an inverter in that
Yeah,
thing.
it's got a.
He built this big, huge battery box, or Mike did, and yeah, that I forget they put that deal in there.
How much do they want for this thing? What is it, like $2,000 now? $3,000? I can't wait to see how much this thing costs. How much? Oh, it's $3,600.
Yeah.
Did not expect that. Did not. Good
comment.
Go ahead, comment.
Those yourselves.
Hey guys, I hate to dispute you in respect to everybody, but that Lab 59, that PTT and headphone breakout comes with the radio, so you don't have to use.
Not when I bought
mic.
it. So things have changed, I guess.
Yeah, I did a video about it. You don't need to speak the hand mic for your headset.
Well, good. I still don't like that it doesn't have a speaker, but okay.
You're right. It is a spaghetti monster, and I love the radio. It's my go-to. So you're absolutely right. It is a spaghetti monster, but I take it because I love the form factor and the radio.
Yeah, right on. No, it's a. And when I'm saying all this, like, keep in mind that every one of the radios I've mentioned, you will likely be happy with all of them. There is likely no perfect radio out there for everyone, right? Or there is a perfect radio for like a couple of things, but they can't do like all the things. So once you figure out what you really need, then it's easy. And literally every one of the radios we mentioned are good radios. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just, there's preferences in certain situations for one over the other.
Yeah, and the KX3 is a great radio.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would really love to see a video comparing the KX2 against the TX500. I just think that'd be super cool. Like, I know Thomas, which he's just a monster on the QRP stuff, and I've been watching a lot of his videos because he really rocks out with a KX2 and also with his KX1 and a Mountain Topper, and man, I can't even. That guy has so many radios.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was him sometimes.
He does have a lot of QRP radios. He does.
And they all have different pros and cons. And I've had my 705 side by side with the TX500, and the 705 was picking up a signal that the TX500 didn't even hear. So there's pluses and minuses in them all, and that's not to say that one's better than the other. It's just what you like and what you do.
100%.
But yeah, side by side, I think the 705 here is better than the TX500, no doubt.
Oh, really? Interesting.
You have Grid Tracker open. Mind if I ask you a question?
Yes. Hold on. So we're in the middle of one question, and then we got to go back to somebody else, and then so just hang tight, Zeke. KD9WNY. So is that good?
Oh no, absolutely. I'll definitely do a little bit more research on the KX2, and because it seems like that one, everybody just gloats about that radio and how fantastic it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm done with the whole like, hey, I'm gonna buy this cheap Chinese thing, and then I'm gonna buy this other cheap Chinese thing, and I'm kind of done with that.
Yeah,
I'm kind of on the par of buy once, cry once, and just be done with it.
I'm totally down with what you're saying, what you're putting there. Maybe we'll do that. I'll add that to the pile for the patron picks episode, which is vastly coming up. TX500 versus the KX2. I've done the 705 versus the KX2, which I think we walked away just saying they're both fantastic radios because they are. They're both really, really good. The TX500 deserves a little bit more screen time, at least on my channel. So I'll add that to my list because I bought the damn thing and I barely use it. It's very frustrating.
Well, I do want an FX4CR.
We're okay. So thank you. Let's go back to Who Meek 7GIB. I see you have posted the image, which I will drag onto the main screen here. So you are saying you would like to put an 80-meter full wave loop up, and you already have the Chameleon MCOM3 base and really like the wire they used. Is that a good choice, or is there something better and or cheaper? Is 275 feet total length correct, and how high will I need to put it? Great questions. Okay, so first, 275 feet, you probably need to go double check the math. You should probably buy extra, right? A longer length just for tuning purposes, right? You'd rather be cutting it shorter than trying to add pieces on. We already talked a little bit about wire earlier in the show. There is, what is it? The Kevlar core wire. You probably want some of that for something like a sky loop, full wave loop. The DX Commander wire comes to mind as being something that would be a good option, right? You will need a very long piece of it, though. As far as height, my understanding is that the sky loops, full wave loops, they really like their height, if you can give it, because I don't have one, right? So this is me just off of my academic reading of like wire antenna books and stuff like that. You want it to be what? Are we aiming for 1/4? Oh my God. She let the dog in and then left the dog, and now the dog's barking. How high do we want it, guys? Go ahead and answer that.
Quarter wave on 80 meters. Sorry, a half wave on 80 meters. So that would be 40 meters high. But that's
ouch.
Ideal. It's ideal. It doesn't need to be that high, but that is the preferred height for any antenna is a half wave.
Which is okay. Yeah. Quarter wave is, I probably would say you should probably get it at least a quarter wave up.
Mm-hmm. That's 20 meters, but yeah, that's doable.
20 meters is still pretty high off the ground.
and by the way, you do probably want that Kevlar because
stretch.
In order to keep it from lagging or from sagging, you're going to want to put it under tension.
Yeah. Where do you live? Where's your geographic location? Who, Meek, are you there? Oh my gosh, did you hear the dog bark? You all did, right? Okay.
Not that time.
No, but earlier, right? You heard it?
Yes, earlier.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
My wife walked out, dog ran out, laid down, and then she went back in and closed the door, and the dog just immediately started barking.
While you're waiting on Humik, I want to comment. I've been investigating these two because I've got an opportunity to put one up. And Palomar Engineering makes one, and they recommend starting at 25 feet, so greater than 25 feet. And of course, what Don said is real math. But the one that Palomar Engineering, they say start at 25 feet.
I appreciate everybody's comments that realistically that's not going to happen, 20 meters off the ground. I mean, fine. It's better to just, okay, I will reiterate. There is an ideal, like a scientific ideal, like that we understand. That evidence points to the fact that if you got it, 1/4 wavelength above the ground, that's, going to perform pretty well. If you do less than that, it doesn't mean the antenna explodes and kills your family. It just means it's not going to be the scientific ideal. You have to accept compromises with antennas. We expect it. We expect to have compromises. So we're just telling you what the ideal is. And where you end up is just where you end up. You just have to make those compromises. It's totally fine. It's okay.
Well, 20 meters is 60 feet, and that's a quarter wave on 80, right?
I'm not saying that. My statement still stands. You just got to put up what you got to put up, right?
Right. So I get that.
So I don't want to go back and forth on what you should or shouldn't do. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, I think quarter wave is the right one, and there you go. Boy, did 20 die? Like everybody's, my grid tracker's still
I'm
popping,
still seeing
but
people on it.
It looks like it's died out. Anyway, okay, are you back? Humik, you're chatting, but we don't hear you. So hopefully we answered all your questions. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm back on. Sorry.
Oh.
thanks for taking my call or my questions there too.
No problem.
Anyway, the call is K7GIB. So.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Who me?
Yeah.
K,
Who me?
K7GIB.
There you go. And my buddy is going to help me with this. Nick is on watching too. But anyway, so no, this information has been really good. 25 feet seems more doable. I do have, again, my chameleon's up. In fact, Nick helped me throw it up there over 70 feet, and then it's kind of inverted V. But I'm not getting great coverage. So that's what I'm thinking. If I get that full wave loop up on this property, that I just might do a little bit better.
Okay, now that you're back on, I can ask the questions. Where are you physically located? Like, where is your place? Like, which state? Which
okay,
city?
I'm in Oregon, kind of in the Salem area.
Is it pretty windy, or can be?
Not usually, but every once in a while it can be.
Okay.
We might get 40-mile-an-hour winds, 50 maybe. You get the occasional weird one, but typically it's not too bad. We're in the Willamette Valley.
Okay. So a couple of things. If you're also, are you adding a mast or something to your property? A couple of masts to be able to do this, or how are you going to arrange all this?
Okay, well, I've got a mast that I'm coming off of where I have one end of my chameleon on there now.
Mm-hmm.
So I might come off of that initially, but I have some pretty tall trees.
Okay.
I've got some 50-foot trees that I'm going to try to utilize.
Okay. So the other thing I was going to say is, going back to all that, it might be a good idea. You determine if you want to do this or how to do this. I often mention, if you're going to go through the process of like doing this whole loop thing, you're going to have to occasionally have maintenance for this whole thing. It might be a good idea to create a pulley system to be able to lower and raise the elements, right? Trees sometimes make that difficult, so I get that. But the advantage of doing a pulley system is you can then tie off the wire to a weight on the other end. It will pull the wire up and it'll keep it taut. But when you get all that, 200-something feet of wire getting swayed around in the wind and getting pulled and pushed, it's nice that it has some kind of leeway with the weighting system. Like, people sometimes use window weights, old school window weights that you can still find. That will prevent the line from snagging and ripping or tearing or whatever. So keep that in mind.
That's
okay.
Okay, I think I'm back on. Anyway, okay, that sounds very reasonable. And I got to say, Josh, that you were instrumental in helping me get my license back after I let it lapse. And so I'm sharing your site with many friends. But anyway, I do appreciate all the work that you put in. Thanks very much.
Hey, thanks so much. I hope that helps. I hope that gets you further on the air, gets you out there further. So right on, 73. All right, Zeke, thanks for waiting. NQ4KZF, go ahead. I think it was a grid tracker question.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
So last time I was here, I was a tech. Now I'm a general. It was a
couple weeks ago. Congratulations.
So I started working on FT8 and stuff, and I got grid tracker installed. The one thing is, I can't see any videos that people are setting up grid tracker with WSJTX. Is how to get it to control WSJTX. Is there like an option for that? Where you know how you have that call list, the call sign list, and you just double click and it calls them if they're CQing?
Yeah, so if I were to, let's see, just click this guy. Yeah, it starts doing it immediately. Oh, is that Alaska station? Okay, I'm going to point to Alaska. Hold on.
For me, it doesn't.
Have you?
Are you running JT Alert also in the middle?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Here's the ultimate question. What version of WSJTX are you running? Because in the newest update, there was a bug in one of the older versions where when you double click a call sign, it wouldn't automatically go to call. And in the latest version, they updated that.
Okay. So I'm not sure the version, but it was installed within the last week and a half.
Okay. Then you should have the latest version.
Okay. If anything, I'll check that just to make sure. But that was just one thing.
Yeah. So how do you have the tab reporting setup on WSJTX?
I know I have the accept UDP, so I'm getting like the
Okay.
data into Grid Tracker.
Okay.
But it's not logging QSO. It's not logging QSOs because I don't have a specific. Well, I have HRD log. But let me pull that up real quick.
You need to also have enable logging contact ADIF broadcast secondary UDP. I mean, it says it's depreciated, but I still leave it on. And then you need to have use TCP/IP connection turned on under network services. Do you have that turned on?
Yeah, I am opening it up right now.
Yep.
I'm having this same issue as well, where I can't get Grid Tracker to control WSJTX.
All right, so while that's, I'm going to leave that window up there so you guys can look at that. And then while that's going on, I'm going to pull up the Grid Tracker window. So your general, you got to have multicast turned on, and you have to add your information for the server. So the server should match. They've got to match on both sides. So see above my head here, there, and there, there, and there, right? You got to have the IP and the port number 2237. And you need to have multicast turned on.
You know, I know I checked these on because it's like I know I checked the accept UDP requests.
It happened.
Man, all right.
Well, wait until you get it to work first before you.
Yeah.
You're just not done yet.
Yeah. So I'll set up tomorrow.
Somebody just said WTF on WSJTX. KI1SPK WTF. Well, WTF to you too, bud.
And speaking of those, how far up the antenna is and whatnot, I don't know. That whole thing about the scientific stuff, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna send my setup from yesterday.
Yeah. No, so straight
I'll put
up
it in the channel.
No, good. You know what? I'm gonna love it because I find that in amateur radio, we get a lot of people that are very much analysis paralysis. They want the ideal, or they're petrified that they don't know what the ideal is, and so failure to know exactly the right answer means they can't make forward progression under some perceived issue that it's not going to work at all, or it's going to be so bad that they're going to have to redo it or whatever. No, the answer is get up on the air. You improve as you go. You can always make something better, etc., etc. So that's always my takeaway. And I made that contact with the Alaskan station. All right, let's take a look at your antenna setup. I am excited.
I got a comment to that last guy real quick, to his last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but and I just figured it out on WSJTX. Make sure you have accept UDP requests checked as well.
All right.
Yeah, I had that up there.
Oh, never mind then. I'm an idiot.
No, you're okay. But that was the one thing we were all like, you gotta have that on.
So there, I just threw the random wire straight up into the branch, and counterpoise just lifted off the ground. I made contacts all the way to Cyprus from South Florida.
Wait, so are you talking like for POTA, or is this at home?
This is at home.
Oh,
this
cool.
Is, FTA at home. Yeah.
Honestly, that's how we rock when we're doing POTA. We're just like throwing wires around. I mean, obviously there's people that have more, beautiful setups than that, but I'm often just hucking wires around. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm upgrading here soon though. I want to be able to just set up with I'm gonna get the Buddy Stick Pro.
Right on.
For POTA and stuff.
All right. So, guys, I went a little longer than I expected. I was going to bail out of here at 9 o'clock. I'm going to go watch a movie with the kids, I think. So, anything anybody needs before I head out, you guys hang out. You guys can keep answering questions and helping out other folks, and want to be able to do that if you can. So, any other questions before I head out?
I just have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Going back to my super sticker earlier in the main live stream. Yeah, Sean, he's the guy that I've been talking about here and there who's been studying and studying and studying. And he finally, at the local ham fest thing that we have in the county up here in Sonoma County, went and took his test this morning, passed the technician, no problem. Missed the general by a few questions, but that's okay. He knows right where he needs to study. And I would say a lot of his knowledge is attributed to what he already knew, plus what he has learned from you. So a big thank you to you, Josh.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I do the videos because I want there to be more amateur radio operators. And I want them to be amateur radio operators like all you good people that are watching and in this Discord that are like cool and nice to each other. We already heard from multiple people today just the horror stories of people not getting treated with respect or getting, kind of pushed out of repeaters and whatnot. I want a welcoming, inclusive space in amateur radio. And the only way to do that is if I go out and try and make that happen, right? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
So right you on, definitely did a good job there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Josh, I figured out the push to talk button finally.
Oh, you got it. Good. Did you have a question or just you're good?
No, I was having some problems with
Grayman Poda. Sorry, your voice is blending with some of the other folks. So, hey, what's up with you and your YouTube channel?
Not much. Just try to get some videos in the can before Tuesday night, and been trying to submit some videos on the what are they calling it? The pregame for the Ham Radio Clubhouse.
Yeah, right on. Very cool. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate you, and I'm gonna wrap things up and head out. So, yeah, 73. Enjoy the rest of your week. Here's a bit of homework. We heard from a lot of people today, and sorry we didn't get to nerd out on any videos or anything because again, my brain's kind of all over the place. But here's a bit of homework. We heard from a lot of people today that have really bad RFI situations, both in the main show. People saying S7, S8, S9, noise floor, multiple people on this chat. Everybody do me a favor tomorrow if you can. If you can. Turn all your breakers off. Just turn them all off. And then connect your radio to a battery. And it doesn't have to be your main radio, just a radio. It could be a shortwave radio, whatever. And start going around, right? So note your noise floor before you shut everything off. Note your noise floor. S9, S7, S8, whatever. Then if you run your radio on batteries or you're running a shortwave radio and there's no noise, the noise is in your house. Then go breaker by breaker, go to each room, figure out what that noisemaker is, and take care of it. That's what I want to see you guys do.
And if that works for you, you are lucky.
You are lucky.
Mine, when I turn my house off, just as loud.
Oh, sure. Me too. Yeah. You figured out the PTT, but are you holding it down now? Because you're stuck on. Just there. PTT should be something you let go of. Can you let go of it? There you go. Okay, good. I kept seeing it thinking you might want to talk. So go do some homework and clear up your own RFI. That's the first step. And if it doesn't fix it, then go watch my videos on what do you do if the RFI is not in your house. Cool. Move. That's right, Don.
Yeah,
move to the middle of nowhere. Yeah. All right. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you on the Discord. I'm going to wrap up on the Discord and go close the stream on my own here. So 73 you guys on the Discord.
73, Josh.
73, Josh.
All right. Well, very good. We are now, Japan is calling. I've pointed my beam straight vertical, and they're literally calling me off the side of my beam right now. So I'm going to wrap up this contact and then close things out. All right, guys, thanks a lot. I hope that the first video worked out for you all and that you were able to maybe get some ideas of what to do with an antenna. But as I always say, just get something in the air, even if you just have to build it yourself. The first HF antenna I made was a simple dipole, and I made legitimate contacts with that, and I had a good time, and you can too. And all I used was a painter's pole, inverted V. That was it. So get out there, build yourself a dipole. All right. I will play the memes and close this whole thing out. Have a great rest of your weekend. 73 to everybody.
5.